The Jets versus the Giants. Which team will have more wins in 2026? The way too early predictions. We'll talk about it on the Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital live on a Monday. Starts right now.
Let's go! It's time for the talk to you. Cause when it's ball, it's always coming to. And Boy Green is always on the scene. And we're gonna always bring to you live streaming. So get ready. Get ready, cause here they come.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Happy Memorial Day. Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital at MC Show Digital. Don't forget to like the video on your way in and hit that thumbs up. And then also subscribe if you're not already a loyal subscriber. It's absolutely free. You go right there, youtube.com/at MC Show Digital. No holidays off for the crew here today. We are here on a holiday delivering content as we always do with our live Monday show. And we've got a lot of business to get out of the way today. But before we get started with all that, I just want to send out a heartfelt, thoughts here to anybody who has a military family, who have lost family members, whether they be distant relatives or immediate family members, for providing us with freedom. You could see I'm wearing my, right, what do they call this again, Boy Green? They call it
Support the troops.
Support the Troops gear. So I got my Giant Support the Troops gear with my Giant Support the Troops hat. What our military does for us and how it has preserved, our place in the world and our freedom is remarkable. I know, Paul, you are from a military family. I have, some cousins and some more distant people. Some of my uncles served in the military, some of whom are no longer with us. But your dad, served. So why don't you talk about it for a minute, what Memorial Day kind of means and what that kind of means for your family being. I mean, I remember we say, hey, where are you from? Paul's like, oh, I'm from about 20 different places. That's because Paul's dad was in the military, and military folks tend to bounce from place to place. And so you were bouncing with your mom and dad, while your dad was in the military. Now he's obviously out, but still, nonetheless, that military blood runs deep, I'm sure, in your family.
100%. My father spent 20 years in the United States Navy. My brother, Nicholas, who spent 4 years in the Marines and then had been a police officer out there on the West Coast for a long time. My uncle, Robbie, who was in the Army. So my mother's brother. Military blood runs through my veins. I've told this story before that I was supposed to go into the military. If we didn't move from South Carolina, that was what I was going to do. I was in JRTC as a sergeant. So my full plan was to enter the military, and then you move and no JRTC up here in New York, and all of a sudden life changed and I pursued different paths. But I think the most important piece is everything that you highlighted so far. And I think there's a distinct difference that some people may not know the difference between these two things. There is Veterans Day. There's Memorial Day. Veterans Day is like and you should do this in general, but if you run into any serviceman in a Walmart or an airport, thank you for your service, handshake, salute.
Right.
Whatever way, buy them a coffee, buy them a drink. You see them in front of you in the line and you pay for it or do something. Like that's what you should do on Veterans Day, quite frankly, any day for armed forces. Memorial Day is different. And I think a lot of people forget this. Mm-hmm. Memorial Day is to honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedoms, the men and women of our armed forces that are no longer with us, that perished, passed away, died, defending our country. And these are the people we'll remember. We should remember them all the time, but specifically for this holiday, that's what it's about. It's to honor all those who served and who unfortunately are no longer with us. And the freedoms to do this show right now, this digital show or my Boy Green Daily show or anything in our lives, movies, TV, anything you choose to do with your life, it's all because of those sacrifices and the ultimate sacrifice that those men and women made. So please today, enjoy your time. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. Enjoy your burgers.
It's a somber day, right? And everybody's going to do their barbecue. But we have a way, as you know, in our country of commercializing everything, whether it's Christmas, whether it's Thanksgiving, or whether it's a somber day like this, Memorial Day, right? It doesn't mean, right, you have to, go to church, kneel in the pews and pray all day. All right. But you have to remember, why we celebrate today, why we get to have our barbecues and drink our beers and, and grill up our dogs and our burgers and our chicken. is we get this day for a good reason. So just don't forget that, but celebrate and enjoy. And, and hopefully across the country, I know here in central New York, we're going to get a nice, 72-degree, day here. We have had a couple of terrible rainy days the last few days. So just kind of nice that like the skies are clearing a little bit today and we're going to have a fairly nice day. By the way, it'll be 85 here tomorrow, Paul, in case you're interested. So yeah,
I'm heading out tomorrow.
We're everywhere. It's like 50, like low 50s and almost 30s at night, and now we're cooking at 85 again another day.
Let me see. I never checked the weather, so like I'm only here till tomorrow because I'll be traveling for family.
That's what you have. That's what you have me around for. I'm the closet weather guy of this show. I always have been over the years.
All right,
and I'm always paying attention to what's going on with the weather. So.
Thank goodness. Okay, I just looked at the weather report. I'm going to visit my parents in North Conway starting tomorrow and basically through the rest of the week. And the high today in North Conway is 69, beautiful. Tuesday, 78, beautiful. 76 Wednesday, great. Thursday, 65. Friday, 60. Saturday, 54, beautiful. Great. I don't want to get too hot. Okay. Excellent.
Yeah, you like
manageable.
54 is a little nippy, but all right, that'll be at the end of the trip.
That's true. That's true.
And who knows? That could change. Again, things have a way of changing when you get 7 days out on a forecast.
That's true.
Really accurate, but yeah, it does look like a pretty good week in general, with things really starting to improve today, at least in the Northeast corridor here, as we would be considered here in good old central New York. So again, nice to be aboard here on a Monday, talking sports with you, and we've got a nice topic that we're going to get into in just a couple minutes. It's going to be Jets versus Giants. Okay. Yes. We have our little layers here where you can tell what our fandom is without even having to us having to verbalize it. I think it's pretty clear who's on what side of what. However, what we're going to do today is the way too early predictions. Okay, so the schedules have come out, and we've chirped a little about the schedules and is it easier or harder, And if you could, Paul, before we get to it today, I want to know that what the quote. I don't know if it's PFF or whoever puts out the ratings of the difficulty of schedule.
Oh, strength of schedule. Sure, I can get
where are the Jets and where are the Giants? I just want to be able to quote that when we get into our schedule picks. But we're literally going to go through. Paul's going to take the Jets. I'm going to take the Giants. He's going to make a way too early prediction on what the Jets are going to do this year, how many wins they're going to have and how many losses. I'm going to go through the schedule with the Giants game by game. I'm going to do the same thing. And then we're going to have a chance, essentially, to attack/convince the other guy that maybe you ought to give this game back. Maybe you ought to consider moving over here, and you'll get a last chance based on the opposing person's view to revise your prediction before we, dare I say, etch it in stone. All right. So that's going to be kind of the primary exercise of our video today. But there are some other things that I want to get out of the way before we get to our football topic of the day. First of all, as you know, we have our monthly raffles every month, and we draw on the 22nd. Today is the 25th. That means 3 days ago, we drew a name out of the proverbial hat using the randomizer based on how many raffle tickets everybody had. And we picked a winner for our 2 Jim Boeheim life-size posters and the laser-engraved 12th Manchild pint glass.
Okay.
So all of that went out the door, or is about to go out the door. I have not mailed them yet. And the winner of our raffle this month was Zay Engineer. So congratulations to Zay Engineer, who was, again, 2 months in a row now, Paul, the top person on the raffle board who had the most tickets did win. So certainly your chances are increased if you purchase more raffle tickets over the course of the month. And for the last 2 months, T-Town Jet won last month's raffle. He really had a lot more. Zay Engineer came in late again and delivered a pretty good blow during the final week to double up on his tickets. And he indeed won that raffle. So 2 raffles are in the books. But what does that mean? Time for a new raffle, my friend.
Well, first off, here for Zay.
Nice. Can't beat it. There you go. Get some chimes and some all kinds of fun stuff. All right. So raffle winner decided for last month. Now we move forward to the next raffle. Now, again, I've been digging down in my basement with all my things, some things which we had hanging in our studios, some unique trinkets. I was showing off a couple of weeks ago that George the Animal Steel baseball that I have.
That is
I don't know
gnarly.
if I'm willing to give that thing away. I'm still on the
That's
fence.
cool.
Whether at some point that's going to go out the door. That
Wait
is
for like a big one,
cool
down the road,
like,
if you ever do it.
It may not be like worth tons of cash that you could put it out there on the open.
But it's more important to you.
Right. It's a very unique item. Like, who has that? Who
I
has a
don't,
ball
I don't think
literally
anyone else on
eaten,
planet Earth.
chewed on,
Right.
essentially? He put his teeth to this thing, ripped the seams open of George the Animal Steel. The
And he's no
wrestler
longer with
no longer
us.
with us. So he's no
Yeah,
longer on this planet
yeah.
with us. Okay. He's, as they say, fertilizing daisies these days.
Mhm.
A guy that I once had lunch with, believe it or not. Yes,
I
had
can't
lunch,
imagine what that was like.
full lunch with George the Animal Steel, the former WWE wrestler, who was unique to say the least. And I just
Yes.
remember when I was a kid watching wrestling with my dad, and George the Animal Steel was a
Eating
wrestler.
the turnbuckle.
And
Yeah.
eating the turnbuckles, and his love for Elizabeth, the
Yeah, sure.
manager, who was
Right,
a very,
Macho
very
Man.
pretty lady who
Yeah.
later ended up with the Macho Man. But he adored Elizabeth and was always trying to steal her away. And oh my God. And just
Great
the whole
storylines.
persona that guy created
Mhm.
to create the character known as George the Animal Steel. One of the most unique characters in the history of wrestling.
Definitely. I
So
would agree.
Wrestling Hall of
Still to this
Famer,
day. Yes.
you know, yada, yada, yada. As a matter of fact, I think the reason that we got the opportunity to interview him all those years ago, and I have pictures. I'll pull them up one of these days. I have
Oh, cool. Please do.
have on my phone and in my archives several pictures of me, Bud, and George the Animal Steel. But I just remember,
Was it a Hall of Fame or something? So what were
yes,
you like?
he was inducted into the Wrestling Hall of Fame, and that's when we got the opportunity to interview him. And we did it in person, which was so cool. He came into the studio and was with us we probably did a 45-minute interview with him on the air.
That's awesome.
And then, like I said, he said, you know, to me, or he mumbled or garbled to me, you know, lunch afterwards. And I was like, all right, this is going to be an interesting lunch, having a conversation with this guy.
Yeah.
Basically doesn't talk and just grunts. That was one of the most unique, unusual things.
He did that the entire lunch?
That was like an out of body. He did not.
Okay.
But he did initially. And I was like, what do I do? Like I'm having lunch with this guy. I'm honored to be sitting down and having lunch with this guy.
Sure, he's a legend, right? Yeah.
And yet the other side of me is like, what do I do? Like, how do I? And then he came out of character, and you know, we had a normal,
That's nice.
normal person conversation. It almost spoiled it. I was like, he ought to just stay in character the whole
That's
time.
what they say, kayfabe. That's wrestling talk for like, you
Yes.
know, like the Undertaker, right? He made sure he was Undertaker all the time. He was on the Tonight Show. He's the Undertaker. He was always that. But now wrestlers, right, can be whoever. I was trying to think of a good example, but whoever it is, right? You could be this crazy person in wrestling, and then you go on the Tonight Show, you're like, hey, I'm just Bobby. And you're like, oh, wow, that's weird. So yeah, it's things are different than they used to be.
There you go. So anyway, so that was unique. So I do have that George the Animal Steel thing. But today's gifts are really pretty unique too. All right.
Please,
I've
yes.
collected some things along the way. So this is going to be this month's raffle item. So you ready, Boy
Great.
Green? The unveil.
Sure. Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. I wish I had a
First
drum
item,
roll.
okay. First item is this.
Okay.
This is
Go
a
full screen.
Muhammad Ali
Whoa.
standing over Sonny Liston.
Yeah.
All right. Poster. But
Sure.
check this out. You can hear that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's metal. It's made of like
Okay.
an aluminum. All right. So,
Okay.
and you can see it's got little holes in the corners. All right. So you can, put
Hang it
on
up.
your wall. You can
Yeah.
tack it up on your wall. We had it tacked up in the studio, but it's Muhammad Ali standing over Sonny Liston.
Yeah.
All right. It's not autographed, but it's awful cool.
May 25th, 1965. Great shot. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. It's got the date, right? First minute, first round, right? And they said he
Yeah.
couldn't beat Liston, and Muhammad Ali took care of business. So that's
Yes.
first.
Okay.
item.
That's part of the raffle. All right.
That ties really, really well into, and what was the inspiration, or this other item was the inspiration for that item to be part of the raffle this month. All right. And it's this. It's a book. All right. Okay. It's
Okay.
a book, right? But it's a cool book. It's a book called My View from the Corner. All right.
Okay.
And A Life in Boxing. And it is a book written by Angelo Dundee, who
Okay.
worked with the great boxing writer Burt Randolph Sugar. Okay.
Okay.
All right. You should know those two names if you know
course,
anything
sure.
about boxing. Angelo Dundee was Muhammad Ali's trainer for
Mhm.
all those years. Okay. And is actually a forward by Ali himself as part of the book. So it's called My
wow.
View from the Corner. It was a book written years ago by Angelo Dundee. I got to, again, meet him in person. And when I met him in person, guess what he did, Boy Green? He
Signed the book?
autographed this book. Now, Angelo Dundee is no longer with us, so you're not getting his
Oh.
autograph anytime soon. And pretty cool thing, also on the scene that day was the great Burt Sugar, the great boxing writer. So long story short, this book is autographed by both guys
Wow.
right on page one.
Unbelievable.
So how freaking cool is that? So you Muhammad Ali medal poster, along with his trainer and the greatest boxing writer, arguably in the history of boxing, Bert Sugar, autographed on this book, My View from the Corner, which, by the way, is a pretty cool book if you like reading.
Yeah.
To put on
There
these
you go.
list all about, Angelo Dundee being the trainer for Muhammad Ali through all those great fights and what he was thinking and doing and so on and so forth. So very, very cool.
By the way,
perfect condition. This book is in
yeah,
pristine, baby. It's been hermetically sealed. The Manchild takes care of this stuff. In case
I can appreciate that. By the way, Lurch, I'm sure you knew this, but Bert Sugar no longer with us. Passed away back in 2012.
Yeah. So you got two guys that aren't autographing anything anytime soon. Okay,
Yeah.
that are in that book. Very cool. Boxing. So if you love the history of boxing, all right,
Yes,
you've got something really cool there. And the month of June, right? We're not in it yet, but we're going to be in it soon. This raffle,
part of our raffle,
on June 22nd.
Yes.
Which ironically is, I think, let me double check my calendar, but I think that is the day after Father's Day.
That's Monday.
Yeah, it is that Monday, right? Yep.
Yeah.
So the
we'll
day
do it live.
Father's Day is the 21st Sunday.
Yep.
And so we will draw on that Monday. All right. Yeah, we can do that live on our show if you want, PG. All right. And so we will draw these items on the 22nd, the day after Father's Day. So in honor of Father's Day, if anybody that knows Father's Day knows that Father's Day weekend is the U.S. Open golf tournament. All right. So again, the third major of the year. We've already put two majors to bed, the Masters and the PGA.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't think I got to tout this, but the Manchild did win the PGA, fantasy.
Not by picking the winner.
Yeah, none of us have picked a winner, though, through the two tournaments. So that's a little disappointing. We're going back to the old days, Boy Green, because the last few years, me, you, or Jim Roy has picked the winner. Like
we have
religiously, one of us. It's been amazing. I had the one season where I picked two of the four winners. I was like, wow, that's a year in the majors, considering all the golfers that enter those tournaments. So we've been pretty spot on, but I won on points. I did not win by picking the winner, who was obviously a guy that none of us would have probably picked, Aaron Ray. I don't think anybody was going to go, yeah, let me take that guy to win himself his first major. I mean, he's never really even contended in a major, and he went out there and had obviously the best 4 days of his life. And the most important part. And now he has, forever the title of I'm a major champion, which there aren't that many guys in golf, including a guy like Ricky Fowler, right? Think about that.
Yeah.
Fowler, who has all that fame, that fan base, people wearing the crazy orange and white, right?
Oh, yeah. Great colors.
Fowler's world famous. He's never won a major. Okay.
That's
for
crazy.
years and years. Phil Mickelson hadn't won a major. And then finally he broke the streak. And then he won a bunch of them when he finally crashed through the door. So there are phenomenal golfers out there who have never won a major. And this guy already has one. Even if it's the only one ever of his career, he'll forever be remembered. Just like Sean McKeel. Who the hell is Sean McKeel? Well, people know who Sean McKeel is because he owns a major too. He won that major at Oak Hill. I'll never forget that with an unbelievably epic shot. All right. On the and this year's U.S. Open, by the way, will be held on Long Island. So we just saw the Ryder Cup held at Bethpage Black, which is in Nassau County on Long Island. We're going to go all the way out to Suffolk County towards the tip of Long Island, not quite Montauk, but out that way to a place called Southampton, okay, where the rich and the famous live, dare I say, Boy Green. And in a little town called Shinnecock, all right, is indeed Shinnecock Golf Course, Shinnecock Country Club. Yeah. And that's where the U.S. Open will be played. It has been played at Shinnecock at least twice before. I was at one of them. Okay. I can't remember the year now, but it's probably in the 1990s. Corey Pavin won, I think, his only major. And with a phenomenal shot on the 18th hole that I personally witnessed, which was really cool. I was in one of those fancy sponsor tents. Okay, right on the 18th green, and saw the Corey Pavin 3-wood that he stuck to like 3 or 4 feet and then made the putt to win the U.S. Open many, many years ago.
1995, it looks like.
95, that's it. So 95, a close friend of mine was working for a cellular company back then and invited me out. And I had this really cool jacket that I got for free just for showing up that day. Like, nice. Wore it for years. It was like the coolest thing ever to me. So anyway,
so in honor of this golf, you're adding what to the raffle?
So correct.
And
so
Father's Day
here. All right. 2 items will go in. All right. Okay. And again, from my personal connection, never worn before. This one still has the tags on it for crying out loud.
Right.
This wonderful Cleveland golf cap. Beautiful.
Terrific.
White Cleveland logo on the back, adjustable, fantastic. All right.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And if you don't like Cleveland and Titleist is your brand, how about a beautiful Titleist white hat with the Pro V1 on the side? All right. The best ball in golf. All right. FootJoy on the other side. All right. Nice Titleist logo in the back. Very, very fancy, swanky, gorgeous white
Oh, yeah. I would wear that. That looks
One's a
great.
little more of a flat brimmy type, although I think you could curve this Titleist a bit. This
That's
one's a little
probably
more of
true.
the rounded brim. You could kind of shape that yourself.
The
So
Titleist passes my
brand
hat.
new.
You know, I'm a hat snafu.
Yeah, you would
that
like this one.
passes.
This is nice, and this has the mesh
Looks
back
great.
too, BJ.
Oh,
So this
nice.
has both the you got the
Beautiful.
mesh back and then the
Nice
solid
front and back. That's
Really nice. And it's a
beautiful.
beautiful looking hat. So
Yes.
you got yourself a nice red shirt, man. Go to town.
Yeah.
With this
Oh, that pop. I
Two
like it.
super nice hats, never worn before, right out of my personal collection. All right.
Wow. What a raffle prize.
It's like a Father's Day, U.S. Open, throw in
Yeah.
some cool stuff, kind of stuff for anybody that loves
Perfect.
golf. All right. But you got the Muhammad Ali poster, the Angelo Dundee book, the 2 golf hats, and like I said, I'm throwing in another Manchild Boy Green laser engraved 12th MC pint glass, second one of these going out
Lurch, that's cool. So if someone was watching right now, whether live or after the fact, if they rewatch the show, how would one get a raffle ticket to potentially win these prizes on June 22nd?
All right. Simple and easy. All right. First way
great.
is you do a super chat or super sticker. Every increment of $3, you get a raffle ticket. So you do one do a super chat
Easy
for
enough.
$3, you got a raffle ticket. You do it for $6, you get 2 raffle tickets. $9, 3 raffle tickets. All right. Sure. If you are not already a member of the channel and you join at our lowest level, which is the 12th Manchild, which costs $4.99 a month. All right. You help support the channel that way. You get, soon as you join, 2 automatic raffle tickets, okay, for joining. Great. So if you're not already a member and you become a member and help support the channel, whether you do it for a month, whether you do it for the rest of your life, okay, you'll get 2 raffle tickets.
So you get a little bit of a deal. If I join, I get 2 raffle tickets, but you said if I did 2 super chats for $3 a piece, $6, I'd get 2. Right. So I actually save a little by joining.
Yeah, save a buck by joining.
Get the raffle tickets.
So why not do that, right? But I'm not going to discourage you one way or the other. It's your time. It's your money. It's your investment. If you we have 3 levels of membership. We also have our second level is called the Diehards. If you join the Diehards, which is $9.99 a month, you'll automatically get 10 raffle tickets. If you join our Hall of Fame level, which is $19.99 a month, Boy Green's putting them up right there, you'll get 20 raffle tickets. So you talk about a bargain, Boy Green, in terms of getting some extra raffle tickets just for being a member. If you join at one of the 2 higher levels, you will double up your tickets. Okay, so 10 for diehard members if you become a new diehard member, 20 if you become a Hall of Fame member. And by the way, if you become a Hall of Fame member, you now are in the running to become part of our fantasy football league, which we're going to start this fall for digital members only. And I'm, like I said, I'm closing in, Boy Green, on ordering our cool WWE belt trophy.
Never had one of those
to
before.
The winner of the league. So we've never had one of those for our fantasy league. So we're going to make this one unique. So how do you automatically get in on our league? You become a Hall of Fame member, right? And you get 20 raffle tickets for this month's raffle, by the way. And if you stay a Hall of Fame member month over month, which right now we have a couple of Hall of Fame members. And if you look at our tote board, our little scrolling ticker, which is below us, when you get back to the beginning of it, which will come around here in a second, you'll find that already Zay Engineer and Jamie the FedEx guy already are in this month's raffle for 20 raffle tickets.
That just started today, right?
Okay. Yeah. Why? Because they are Hall of Fame members who have renewed and stayed another month. Every month they stay, they automatically get in the raffle. They don't have to contribute another dime other than what they're doing for their membership and supporting the channel. So really cool way to get raffle tickets automatically every month, and you get 20 of them for being a Hall of Fame member each and every month, right? So those 2 guys already at the top of the tote board until other people start jumping in and supporting the channel and getting in on this month's raffle. But really cool, unique prizes. So 2 boxing prizes, 2 golf hats, and the laser engraved glass. And again, we will draw it on the 21st. Boy Green says we could probably do that live on our show, so that'll be awesome. And then
22nd, right?
22nd, and then I
will
essentially mail them out. I'm like the official mailer of all this
you
stuff,
are?
since I possess the prizes here.
That's true.
Physically, so I will box them up and get them out to you, and you'll get yourself this month's raffle prizes. So always fun and a great way to contribute to the channel. So it's a way of getting something back for also contributing to the channel. All right. Oh, and by the way, if you gift memberships, that's the only other way. All right. If you gift memberships, each membership you gift to someone is going to be 2 raffle tickets. If you gift 5 or more, you'll automatically get 20 raffle tickets.
Wow.
Okay, for doing that. So you get, again, a nice bump, right? You normally get 10. I will double the raffle tickets for this month if you gift 5 or more memberships in a bracket. And we've seen a few people do that to get their tote board, dare I say, bouncing a little bit. So there you go. So those are the ways to contribute and to get in on this month's raffle. And it's super fun, super exciting. And we do it every month. And we draw on the 22nd, which again is my favorite number, which is why we draw on 22. Cool.
By the way, real quick, fans, I see we got a bunch of questions about anything and everything in the chat. Keep firing them in there, and after we get through our win-loss game, I promise we'll get to a bunch of them. You have Jets questions for me and other questions. Any questions you guys have, or during this process you guys have questions, fire them away. We'll get to them at the end of the show, so keep them coming.
Okay. All right. So there you go. All right. So absolutely. Comments, welcome. Super chats, welcome. New members, welcome. Get in the raffle. Get things started for us here as we enter now the month essentially of June, even though I know we're still in May. We'll be in June before you know it, which to me is always like the premier month, of the year. I don't know. There's something about June.
I definitely don't feel that way, but
I think I once went years ago, one of the few trips that I've made overseas to cool places, and I went to Paris in June. And I think there's like a little saying about Paris in June and what it's like. And it was by the way, gorgeous in Paris in June. So that was pretty cool. I would say Central New York in June oftentimes can arguably be the best month of the year. When it comes to the flowers are blooming now, Boy Green, the weather tends to stay a little more in that 70s, nice range, maybe a pop an occasional 80, maybe there'll be a couple of days in the 60s, but we do tend to be in that more moderate world a little bit. So, yeah, I like the month of June. I don't know, just stands out. Even though I'm an August birthday, I still like the month of June. Okay, so our task at hand today, Boy Green, is a good one. And by the way, I just want to point this out as well. Today we are presented by our friends at Northeast Roofing Professionals, nerpcny.com. Always good to, if you're looking for roofing repairs or if you want to replace your roof, to check in with our friends at Northeast Roofing. They're super supportive of our show. So if you live in the greater central New York area, particularly in the Fayetteville and DeWitt areas, which is where they specialize, please at least take the time to allow our friends from Northeast Roofing to give you an estimate, to come check out the job. You may find that they're a perfect fit for you. I know they do tremendous work. So support our friends at Northeast Roofing. And today's video is brought to you, by the way, from our friends at Bayberry Automotive. We'll hear from both of our sponsors in just a little bit. All right, let's get to the business at hand, Boy Green. Let's talk some football. All right, let's talk about the Jets and the Giants and the schedules. How about I'll let you go first, all right? You're Jets guy,
beautiful.
all right? So we're going to throw up the Jets schedule, and then I'll reserve my comments for later. I mean, maybe I'll chime in a little bit. I'll probably leave you alone, all right? And let you walk through the schedule and say win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, and then in the end go, all right, 9 + 3 equals, all right? And we'll find out what you think the Jets are capable of doing this season. Go ahead, Boy Green.
Yeah. So here we go, folks. We're playing the win-loss game for the New York Jets and the New York Giants in a moment. I'm going to go through the schedule. You see it on the screen. Shout out to Jake Asvin Show for the great graphic. Weeks 1 through week 18. I'll let you know what the game is, and then I'll say win or loss, and maybe there'll be a comment for some of these games as we're going through here in May. So without further ado, let's get started. Week 1, Jets open the season at the Tennessee Titans on the road. Robert Saleh and friends. There are 22 former Jets or Titans total on both sides that have played for one another. So a lot of drama. I did not know this stat till Jake Asvin said it. The Jets have not won a Sunday home opener in 11 years. So it's been a long time. So I think the Jets need to set the tone. They can. The Titans won 3 games last year. The Jets won 3 games last year. They both stink. So it's a winnable game, and they win this game. And I will be there. So I can't wait to see it in person. So Robert Saleh's going to get his candy blank butt whooped, and the Jets will start off the season 1-0, baby, and I will be there to see it. So that's beautiful. So start off on the road with a win, 1-0 there. Week 2 is the New York Jets home opener. I will also be there for that. I'm very blessed. I'll be there with great seats to see the thank you JR327 and his great son. I can't wait to see that. It'll be the home opener against the Green Bay Packers. And here's the thing, Packers, that's tough. Perennial playoff contender, all these other things. Micah Parsons won't be available. He's likely going to be placed on the PUP list, so he's out for the first month of the season. And Tucker Kraft, who I think is their best offensive player that no one talks about beyond Jordan Love, he had a torn ACL, so I don't know what his recovery timeline is. So the Jets may get the Packers at the perfect time, and I think they hit him right between the eyes with a 2x4. Booyah! That's a 2-0 start, baby, to the season. We're off to a great start here, Lurch. Nice.
How many wins did they have all of last season?
3.
3. Okay, and you have them 2 in the first 2 games. It's an interesting dialogue you have going here. Continue, please.
Okay, week 3 at Detroit. This is a revenge game for Aaron Glenn. He could give it back to his old team. He knows that team. They may know him, but he knows that team at Detroit. Yeah, that's another win. 3-0 start, baby, for the New York Jets. They take out the Detroit Lions right at the knees. Not as good as they used to be. They haven't been as good as they were since Aaron Glenn left. Coincidence? I think not. So that's a 3-0 start for the New York Jets. Let's go. All right, let's go. They continue their road. 3 of the first 4 on the road. Week 4, that's tough. At Chicago, it's a tough place. Ben Johnson, offensive wizard, Caleb Williams and company. Their defense was opportunistic last year. All right, this is a loss. The Jets, their undefeated streak.
Here, huh? Okay.
Their undefeated streak ends here. 3-1. Hey, it is what it is. They lose to the Chicago Bears, Windy City. It's a tough place to play. That makes a lot of sense. Now we go back home. This is my tailgate this year. Jets-Browns, baby. So I'll be at 3 of the first 5 games of the Jets season. I've never been to that many games in a singular season, so I'm about to break some records this year. Come on. The Browns? Deshaun Watson? Get the hell out of here. This is clearly a win. The Browns stink. This is amazing. Jets win. 4-1 start to the season. Let's go. Oh, things are going great. This is a great start for the New York Jets. Week 6, it's tough at the New England Patriots. Foxborough, the belly of the beast, as it were. A team that went to the Super Bowl last year. The Jets lose this game at Foxborough. That's tough. I hate to say it. I hate the Patriots. I hate the Patriots almost more than I love the Jets, and I do a daily show about the Jets. But that hurts me. But they lose. 4-2 start to the season, week 6. But now we got a nice little stretch here. Week 7 at home against Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins might have the number 1 overall pick next year. They stink. That's a win. Back on the board here for the Jets. So beautiful.
Through 7 weeks right now, if I'm calculating this right, you have the Jets at 5-2.
Yeah, I guess that's the math of it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Continue.
Let's keep rolling. Oh, another home game against the Raiders.
I'm biting my tongue.
Okay. Another home game against the Raiders. They had the number 1 overall pick because they stink. That's a win. Stack it up, baby. That's a dub. Okay. There you go. Beautiful.
6-2.
6-2. Now here's the problem. There's a problem. We're heading in a very rough patch here. At Kansas City is up next. Patrick Mahomes, if he's not going to be healthy early in the season, although some believe he'll be ready for week 1, that's at Kansas City, the Chiefs, everything they are. They're back to their height of their powers. That's an L. That's the L for Jets. That's tough. That's tough. Now we come back home, week 10. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, we play 3 of the next 4 on the road. At least we have a home game in there. Who's it against? Oh, the Buffalo Bills. Oh, lovely. Thanks, schedule makers. Really appreciate that. Yeah, it's a loss for the Jets. The Bills crushed us last year in week 2 of last season, so not good.
So again, just stop for a second. Through 10 weeks now.
Yeah,
6-4 the Jets at this point.
6-4.
Okay. Back-to-back losses at the Chiefs and then at home against the Bills. Okay,
that's unfortunate. Week 11, a West Coast trip, East Coast, West Coast. Not good for the Jets. This is another loss. So this is their 3rd loss in a row. Chargers loss. It's tough. West Coast, Harbaugh, he's incredible out there. Herbie wants to be a dentist. Justin Herbert, he's a tough quarterback out there. They got a lot of pieces. SoFi Stadium, a beautiful palace. If I was going to a road game this year, which I am, Tennessee, I'd love to go to SoFi. That place looks beautiful. But that's a 3rd loss in a row for the Jets in week 11, unfortunately. That's no. Then we get to week 12. Hey, baby, I missed you so much. Sweepski. We're checking out the Miami Dolphins. They stink. That's a sweep.
No hope that Malik Willis is going to turn that thing around by week 12?
Yeah, no. I think not. I think not. So, sorry. That's a win for the Jets. Great. Week 13, boy. The Jets have lost a lot of bye weeks over the years, but I think they win this one. I think they beat the bye week. They're healthy. It's the latest bye week they've ever had in their history. That's a win in the bye week. They're able to win that, Lurch. Do you agree with the win in the bye week? You feel good about that?
Sure. I'll give him a win there.
Okay, great.
7-5, and we're through 13 weeks, including the bye.
Okay, let's keep going. Week 14. This is a weird scheduling quirk, Lurch. The Jets have played the Denver Broncos 7 straight years. This will be the 7th straight year that they've played them. It's weird. I talked to our NFL scheduling guy. He just says like that's random circumstance that has happened because one's in the AFC West, one's in the AFC East. It's very odd. Broncos are tough, man. The Broncos are tough. They just went to the AFC Championship game, and quite frankly, should have went to the Super Bowl, but that's neither here nor there. So, yeah, that's a loss for the Jets. And unfortunately, coming out of the bye, you had extra time to prepare for this one, but still, that's a no-go at home against the Broncos. That's a loss. Okay. All right, now we go to Week 15 at Arizona. The friggin' Cardinals suck. I love Jeremiah Love, and so does Lou B, but the rest of that roster stinks. Mike LaFleur, Nathaniel Hackett. How do you hire Nathaniel Hackett as your offensive coordinator? Disgusting. Yeah. That's a win for the Jets. Love it. Yes.
So 15 weeks in, 8-6 with a bye included.
Okay, there you go. Very nice. All right. We're going to split with the New England Patriots. I'll take a win right there in week 16. Give me a split
They
ski.
only went to the Super Bowl last year. Why not split with them this year?
That's
Okay.
it. There you go.
9-6. Wow.
Okay. All right, let's go. We're at home, second straight home game. We play the Minnesota Vikings. Kyler Murray, J.J. McCarthy. I don't care who it is. That's another win. Stack it. Stack it. Rack it, baby.
10-6.
And unfortunately, we get to the final game of the season, and the Bills sweep us. That's their home finale at their brand new stadium. Until I see it, the Bills sweep the Jets. So that's an L. There you go. There's 18 weeks, 2026 schedule, win-loss game, bing, boom, bam.
10-7 is your final, correct?
Oh, is it? Okay, I'll put it on.
You don't know? You didn't tally it?
Oh no, let me count it up. 1,
Count it up. Make sure I got it right.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's right. Your math is math and Lurch. 10-7, baby.
10-7. Oh, my friend. I love you, my friend. I know what I'm dealing with when I'm dealing with you every year when it comes to predictions and loyalty.
Sounds like you agree with my prediction. So great.
Well, listen, I'll agree with this much of it.
Okay.
I do think the Jets will be an improved team. Okay.
Well,
now,
that's not saying much. They were 3-14 last year.
They only won 3 games. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. Wow. Bold prediction there by the Manchild. They'll be an improved team. Okay. I think they will.
Okay.
The question is, how far are you willing to go? All right. So let me try to put some of the cork back in the bottle here for you and have some, dare I say, rational conversations with you about some wins that you put
I love having those. Yeah.
that perhaps will temper your 10-7 to perhaps something that I think is more realistic for the Jets. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Vegas right now has the Jets over at 5.5 wins.
5.5. That's correct. Yeah. Yeah. They're a little low on the Jets this year.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're nearly doubling that.
So I can make some good money is what you're saying.
If you're right, I'm sure you could. Because
all right.
Great. A lot of people on the other side of those bets in some of those games. All right.
Okay.
Let me go back at you on a couple of games. See if I can maybe
lay it on me.
Dare I say? I know, folks. I'm fighting an impossible uphill battle with this guy.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. But just a couple of games. I'm not going to go attack you on every game. There are some places actually where I somewhat agree with you that the Jets have a more than reasonable chance of winning some of these games.
Glad you agree.
All right. So let's start with let's just start with the league first. Okay. Your own league. I always think a good place.
Oh, my division. AFC East.
Your division.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Your division. I'll do the same thing later when we go through the Giants schedule.
Okay.
All right. So what you're doing in the division. So 3 other teams in the division.
All right.
And the way that you have it mapped out is you're going to sweep the Dolphins.
Correct.
You're going to split with
the
New
Patriots.
England.
And get swept by Buffalo.
By the Bills. So in the end, you've predicted a 500 record.
3-3.
In
That's
the league.
Reasonable. That's not crazy.
Yeah. I don't know if I agree with the way you broke it down.
Okay.
But I do think it's reasonable, actually, that the Jets could be 3-3 in the league. If things go their way, I think that that's possible. I don't think I pick it necessarily the way you picked it. I think there is a chance to sweep Miami, but aren't the Jets? All these records, but isn't there which team is it in the? I think it's Miami, right, where they have been just brutally horrific on the road. Is it the Dolphins?
Yes. Yeah, the Jets have not beaten the Dolphins since 2015 or something in Miami.
It's insane, how
it's
bad
been difficult
it's been in Miami. Yeah. So, as bad as I think Miami could potentially be, and maybe by week 12 when they play them in Miami, maybe the Dolphins are already, on recoil so badly that they're maybe they are mailing it in and just thinking about getting, Manning or one of those top quarterbacks and calling it a day, although they've invested a lot of money in Malik Willis. So I think they're hoping they have that solved. So they're hoping that that's not going to be the case, but they could find themselves, a 1 or 2 win team 11 weeks into the season. And then they're like, well, what's the point of all this? Let's just put the rookies out there. And,
October 4th, 2015 is the last time the Jets beat the Dolphins in Miami.
Yeah, since 2015. So,
so that means we're due. That's what that means.
Perhaps it's a rather bold prediction, to say the least.
Okay.
We think the Bills are going to be really good again this year.
Swept by Buffalo. That's a realistic thing to say.
It's not unreasonable to say that. I do think New England will come down to earth a little bit this season. I really do.
That's what I'm saying. I
They
agree.
may on
Yeah.
paper be a better team than the Jets. I don't think there's any doubt about that based on wins and
Right.
losses. That would be, again, another stupid thing to have to say out loud. But,
Yeah.
I do think that a lot of times in the league, there's always chances to split. So, my prediction would be split with the Dolphins, split with the Patriots, get swept by the Bills.
So 2-4 in the
and
AFC.
I'd have them 2-4 instead of 3-3. Okay.
Okay. That doesn't sound like a massive gripe.
It's not. So I think in
Okay.
the league, you are actually somewhat reasonable.
Thank you.
So I'm not going to hammer you for that.
I appreciate that.
But there are a couple of games on the schedule here which I am going to attack you a little bit on.
Okay, here we go.
So you got these two games early in the schedule. All right. You were willing to give away the Bears in week 4. Okay.
I was.
A place to play. They were pretty good last year.
Yeah,
But we've got to look at the Packers and the Lions. Okay. Particularly, let's go to week 3 in the Lions. I mean, you kind of just glossed over the idea of, we'll go to Detroit. We'll go beat those guys.
Okay.
I understand the Lions didn't even make the playoffs last year. Okay.
They
But,
didn't.
they still have a ton of talent. They're going to be very ornery early in the season because I think of the disappointment of last year. They still have a really nice roster. They still have a lot of talented players, and they are very good at home. That place is a tough place to play. It's a dome. It reverberates. It's just a crazy, tough place to play. Yeah. So I don't know. Like, what is it other than your eternal Jets optimism that is a rational argument for, hey, the Jets are going into Detroit in week 3 and we're going to kick some Lion butt? Because that one I got to pull off the board, or I got to at least try to get you off the ledge and at least come down and say, all right, okay, maybe I'm a little bit crazy. I'm a little bit seeing through green colored glasses here in predicting that the Jets just waltz into Detroit and go take out the Lions.
Okay, so two things here. First off, I think if you look at the coordinator situation, since the Lions lost Ben Johnson, it's been a disaster. They hired John Morton to be the guy, and then halfway through, and my son's upset in the background. He's like, "Oh, geez, the Lions. Oh, gosh."
He likes Lions.
I understand. Apparently, he's roaring, which makes sense. Roar, Lions, all that. But like you look at it here, at offense coordinator, they have not been able to figure it out since Ben Johnson left. The offense does not look the same. So they hired John Morton to do it. He got fired halfway through the season, and Dan Campbell took over. So that's a mess. They have a new offensive coordinator in. They're trying to figure it all out. So that's a little jumbled. We're going to be in week 3 trying to figure that out. I think that's a net positive for the Jets. We go to
They are bringing in 2 different coordinators. So that's
right.
There's always an adjustment period there.
Well, the defensive coordinator is the same. It's Calvin Shepard. Yeah, it is Shepard. He is an AG understudy. And, it's funny when you get these student master situations, Lurch. Maybe you can tell real life examples of this. But when the student gets a chance to be the master, right? The master goes away. He either leaves permanently or he temporarily fills in. The student's like, oh, I've got the answers. And I know all these things the master used to do that I'm going to do different. And Calvin Shepard attempted to do a lot of crazy stuff that AG didn't do. And a lot of that flopped for the Lions last year. They had a lot of issues. And to me, Calvin Shepard's still learning on the job. If I'm like saying, okay, who wins that? Because sometimes you see that we were talking about boxing earlier, alerts the prizes for Muhammad Ali. You'll see the tail of the tape, and they'll show Muhammad Ali standing on this imaginary graphic, and then whoever he's fighting. Let's look at age. Let's look at arm length. Let's look at wingspan. Let's look at record. Let's look at knockouts. Let's look at all these things. If I line up AG and Calvin Shepard next to each other, AG, I trust a lot more calling defense. I do Calvin Shepard. He's a former player, of course, and there's some level of respect there, but he has a very small sample size, and the sample size he showed stunk. So I think the defense is a massive question mark. Aiden Hutchinson, what's he going to be able to bring? What's a whole team going to be able to bring? So I have massive question marks about their defense. Their offense isn't Ben Johnson anymore. So I don't think the Lions are as scary. Going into the Lions' den, pun intended here, I don't think it's as scary as it used to be 3 or 4 years ago when they were in the NFC Championship game. I don't think it's your grandpa's Lions. That's what I'm saying.
CBW jumping in with various comments, but I'll throw this one up from him. Thank you for your comment, CBW. Isn't the Jets D coordinator learning on the job? Well, the one I actually wanted was the one before that. I'm sorry, I put up the wrong one. Don't the Jets have a new coordinator also to adjust? So you picked apart the Lions a little bit. They've got to make an adjustment. What about the Jets? Don't they have to make an adjustment? Good argument
here's
there.
The thing. I think most people would say that the Jets coming off a 3-14 year are a massive question mark. Obviously, Vegas thinks so. They're 5.5 wins. But I think that, if I'm the Jets, I want to make things muddy. What do I mean by that? Like if the Lions are figuring things out and we're figuring things out, that means it's a toss-up. Like, okay, if we're both figuring things out together, who figures things out quicker is what I'm saying. So CBW points out, like, all right, you try to figure it out too? Good. I want us to. I want to try to make this as I want to try to. The Lions have the advantage at home. They're in a dome. They play here all the time. I want to muddy the waters as much as possible to make it closer. The Lions are clearly a better team than the Jets, just on paper. They're a better team. They've proven to be a better team, all those things. Any advantage I think I can get with us being closer on those categories. So go back to that boxing card thing where something's like, you're like, ooh, like in some cases you go through a list, you're like, this guy clearly has better reach. This guy clearly has better this, clearly better this. With Ben Johnson off the board, we'll stay to the offensive coordinator since that was the first comment that came up. I'd rather have the Dan Campbell combination, what he has, and me having a new offensive coordinator, Frank Reich. Frank Reich has to be better than Tanner Engstrand. So by default, he has to be better. He can't be worse. So to me, that's a net positive. And if I go the other way, I think it's fair to say that whoever replaces Ben Johnson, who they attempted to last year, is a net negative. No one's going to be better than Ben Johnson. I think we can all agree on that. So I'm guaranteed to be better in offensive coordinator, and you're guaranteed to be worse. I like that math.
It's an interesting thought. What? So let me. All right, I can't get you utterly off the Lions. You're from, but let me ask you this. Okay, I'll do this in a combo package. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
So you have the Jets starting the season on the road with a win against the Titans, which I think is a 50-50 game. All right.
I agree.
50-50 game. It's a road game. The Jets are not swimming with confidence, certainly coming off of what they did last
Probably
season.
not. Right.
So, I give them that's a toss-up game. To me, that's a toss-up game.
It's a toss-up game. It's 100% how I would categorize it. Yes, I agree.
But both the Packers and the Lions, again, I'll go to Vegas odds here. And, they're both predicted over for wins 10.5. Okay. So Vegas thinks these teams are going to win around 10 or 11 games, both of these teams. And you have the Jets, a team that is predicted to only win 5.5 games by Vegas.
That's correct.
Beating both of them back-to-back weeks. To me, I think you got to concede one of the two games. You either got to say, the Jets, after an emotionally good win against the Titans on the road, which you've predicted, come home and, don't play maybe up to snuff and lose to the Packers, who are a pretty darn good team, predicted to win between 10 and 11 games. Or, they face that Lions den, on the road and they drop one there. See, to me, you got to give me back one of those two games. I'll give you a chance. I know you are hard to move on these things to give back one of those two games. Why are you not willing to give back one of those two games? Or are you indeed?
I am. I'll negotiate.
Give back one. Go ahead.
Yes, I'll give back. To me, I think my argument for Green Bay is stronger than my argument for Detroit. The Jets are at home. It's their home opener. Micah Parsons is 100% not playing. Tucker Kraft is up in the air. He might play. He might not play. I don't know. But I know Mike isn't. And he's arguably their best player on their entire team. That's a net positive for the Jets. The Jets are at home. Green Bay, if you look at their history with Jordan Love, which is, and that's fair to categorize it in his era, they've showed up and just not played weeks. They lost to Cleveland in Cleveland. So you're telling me, this team that's sort of herky-jerky, they've been overall very good. I'm not pretending they haven't been. Matt LaFleur is an awesome head coach. They've been a perennial playoff team. They've been really, really good. But they have had these weeks where you just can catch them sleeping, that they're looking past the team. They're like, the Browns, this team, this team. I could totally see it with the Jets. So I think I more believe that the Jets can knock off the Packers. And it's a more difficult challenge to convince people that they could go into Detroit, go into the Lions den and beat the Lions. So I will flip week 3 and I'll turn that into a loss. So now we're to 9-8.
That's you to 9-8. I've talked you off the ledge. To be honest with you, other things, I can see them. I can squint hard enough and see them. There's one other game we need to go back to.
All right, go ahead.
And I think we'll get this to a more realistic 8-9 if I can convince you. Okay. And that is that week 17 game against the Vikings. Okay.
Oh, come
on. The Vikings were a pretty good team last year. The year before, I should say, right?
Right, 14-3.
And then they just had all the quarterback problems, last year.
Oh, that was a disaster.
It really made them slip. And, but I mean, come on, we both have talked a lot about Kevin O'Connell over the last few years. I mean, do you think he's lost the magic? I mean, I think that would have been crazy to even think about firing that guy. I think he's a terrific coach. He has proven to be a pretty good quarterback whisperer, and he's got a reclamation project here. There's no question that Kyler Murray is a reclamation project. Yes. He's not Aaron Rodgers. He's not 42.
No.
barely able to move,
27 or something.
and the
28.
hope
Yeah, he's
is if
still
we can
young.
keep
Yeah.
him out of trouble and he doesn't pull another hammy, that somehow we can win another 9-10 games, which is, I imagine, what the stupid Steelers are thinking this year. But this guy has a way.
Mhm.
He's got 2 swings here at the Pinata. He has a chance to rebuild the confidence and of JJ McCarthy and make him viable again. There were so many people coming out of that draft when they drafted McCarthy thinking that he could be the guy. They gave him the full year to sit back and watch, but it didn't go well. And I don't know. I really don't know if McCarthy is going to prove to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. But Murray is a guy, even though, he played in a terrible organization. He had really a lot of bad pieces around him. I know he got Harrison there towards the end, but he just had a lot of bad pieces around him. Sure. They've never had a good offensive line in front of him. They've never had a good defense to keep him off the field. Arizona has been a cautionary tale in recent years. So to me, he comes into an organization that has like 3 really good receivers, of viable tight ends. The offensive line is going to be far more competent, and the Vikings can actually play defense. Like, to me, one of those 2 guys, Murray or the reclamation project of Murray or the rebuild and the confidence of McCarthy, one of these 2 guys, I think, turns into a reasonable quarterback this year. I don't know. Want to take a quick look? What's the under-over for wins for the Vikings? I have no idea what it is.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
All right. But to me, if just one of those 2 things happen, and I think with Kevin O'Connell making the calls and being what he is as a coach, and in particular as a builder of quarterbacks, that this Vikings
8.5.
8.5. I'm surprised. I thought it'd be more like 9.5. So I'm a little surprised that it's 8.5. I think the Vikings are gonna threaten to win 10 games this year, and I just think that one. I know it's at MetLife, but I think that's a tough one. And by the way, it's bookended around the Patriots, at home,
and the Bills,
the Jets to get a win against. Okay,
yes,
and then on the road at the Bills, which I don't give them much of a chance to win against unless there's devastating injuries by then.
Right.
So
So
here's
my thing on Minnesota.
Win against the Patriots in Week 16 and have them split that series, which you're having them do. Then how do they, go back to back here and beat what I think is a very competent Vikings team, which regardless of what'd you say, it was 8.5?
8.5, yes.
So they're expecting that team to be about a 500 team. I think they're going to be better than a 500 team. I think one of those 2 quarterbacks is going to figure something out, and they're going to be a respectable team this year, an above 500 team for sure, and maybe even a 10 or an 11 win team this season. So I just think more highly of the Vikings. So I'm not, I don't want to try to convince you off the ledge of the Patriots, because I think the Jets could split with the Patriots, and I do think the Patriots will take a step back. But I just can't give you both the Patriots and the Vikings. Have I convinced you or not? You're going to stay at 9-8, or are you willing to come down to the only other place I want to move you, which is from 9-8 to 8-9, which to me is a really good improvement for the Jets, considering that they only won 3 games last year.
They haven't won 8 or more games in 11 years, so that would be massive.
You understand what you're putting on the table. I know you're always going to be a glasses half full guy, but I'm just trying to get you a little more in the realm of this is more realistic versus this is what you hope to happen.
Right. I understand. I would say, first off, I am a massive Kevin O'Connell fan. I think he's a wonderful coach. The only win that's ever been taken out of my sails on, that surprised me, on Kevin O'Connell, is he handpicked J.J. McCarthy. Bo Nix was on the board, who, by the way, looks like a sterling quarterback for Denver. Kevin O'Connell's supposed to have forgotten more offense than most of us ever know. He selected J.J. McCarthy, and he was wrong. He's this offensive wizard. He's this former quarterback. He's the one who has the Midas touch. The perfect situation. They play in a friggin' dome. He has Justin Jefferson to throw to, and J.J. McCarthy hasn't been able to figure it out. They have Jordan Addison, who's a talented receiver, T.J. Hockenson, Aaron Jones, and now they've added Jawan Jennings as a 3rd wide receiver. Man, that's a thing that's only taken, wow. How did you get that wrong, Kevin? Anyone can get anything wrong, I guess, but your quarterback is supposed to be your specialty. And you somehow screwed it up. So that's the only thing that takes a little wind out of my sails on whatever the hell is going on there in Minnesota. But no, you're right. There's a lot to like about Minnesota. But I would say a dome team coming to the lovely weather confines in late December, early January against the Jets is pro advantage for the Jets. Kyler Murray, is he even healthy? He's had a lot of durability concerns over that time.
Yep.
So is it Kyler wins the job and then JJ
Yeah.
sort of cleans up and gets shoved out there? And if so, JJ McCarthy, even when he was at the height of his powers at Michigan, they won a national championship game. They won in spite of him. He just had to make key plays at key moments. He didn't wow anyone with crazy numbers. So he's the one I'm supposed to fear. Oh boy, JJ McCarthy or a half-broken Kyler Murray is coming into town. Oh geez. Oh, what am I gonna do? So, if you pushed hard enough, I'm like, fine, since we're getting me another one here, and then you push me to 8-9, 8-9's fine.
Right.
But
give me back one, either the Patriots or the Vikings, and then I'm willing to settle on an 8-9 Jets.
But I want 9-8. I want above 500.
I know you do. Everybody does. You want to get back to respectability. So do I.
But if I have to pick one, I'm giving you back Minnesota. I want to beat New England. One of those two.
And I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that you're arguing that way. All right. So after the dust has settled here, Boy Green, who originally predicted the Jets at 10-7, will push back and give the Manchild back 2 wins and have his team finish the season at 8-9. Very respectable turnaround. Yes.
Now, yes, that's a very respectable turnaround. I just want to say one thing before we go to Giants, because I see Jim CBW is lighting up our comments, which, by the way, we appreciate. We want comments being lit up. However, I see all these statistics. He's like, hey, do you see all this stuff, man? Did you know that the Green Bay is a 6.5-point favorite against the Jets? Did you know that the Jets are a 9.5-point dog against the Detroit Lions or 8.5 against Chicago? Hey, Jimmy, old CBW, old 4450. I've got a little stat for you. I hope you enjoy this. Did you know this? How about this? I don't even know if Lurch will know this. Let me ask you this, Lurch. Let's play a quick game of trivia. Okay. Through the first 13 games of last season, what do you think the Jets' record was against the spread? Through 13 games last year, first 13 games of the year, what do you think their record was against the spread? Just guess.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I mean, you're asking me this question for a reason, but I'm going to try not to let you asking me the question taint what my answer should be.
Okay.
First 13 games against the spread.
Yeah, for the Jets last year.
I'm going to say the Jets were 13 games. I'm going to say 6-7.
Okay. The Jets were 9-4 against the spread through the first 13 games of last season. And again, through the final 5 games that were remaining after that, or whatever the math is, whatever the remaining games were on that, the Jets got blown out, got their teeth kicked down their throat. The Jets rolled over and died. But so Jim, old CBW over here, is trying to feed me all these spreads. Look at the spread. Aaron Glenn had these teams ready. Now, he did stupid stuff in key moments, but he had them ready to go. He lost the games. He started 0-7. That is on his ledger forever. But he had them ready to roar. So don't give me no spreads, CBW. I'll show you I can show you we can shove those spreads, buddy. So, yeah, don't be giving me any of that kind of energy here or give me spread this, spread that. Okay? Yeah. So, just want to throw that out in the universe, if I may. Thank you.
Okay.
Fair enough.
8-9. Fair enough. 8-9 after some discussion and some rational thought. I'm willing to hang with Boy Green at 8-9. It definitely is an optimistic prediction, but I don't have to squint incredibly hard to see it as a possibility. The one other comment I would offer on this is this.
Sure.
All of this, and I mean all of it, Boy Green. I mean, we can look at all other kinds of weird, wacky things, but all of it is contingent to me on one thing and one thing alone, right? And I'm not even talking about the intangible of coaching and whether Aaron Glenn can actually coach, which is certainly another thing that I can hang this on.
Sure.
I'm going to hang it on the thing that every team hangs on every season, and that is quarterback play.
Of course.
Okay. So the real question here for any Jet fan out there, okay, is simple. Is Geno Smith washed, or is Geno Smith still capable of being the guy that he was a couple of seasons ago? Okay. By the numbers, the last couple of years, he appears to be a bit washed. Okay. Through the most picks in all of football last year, albeit for a lousy team and a lousy organization. Okay. That has to be put in the blender. But, it really is one of these, do you believe that Geno Smith can, as Vin Scully once said in the movie For Love of the Game, can push that sun back up in the sky one more time? Okay? like Billy Chappell did. All right. They
Right.
could always perfect game in that movie. All right. Can Geno return to at least above average form? I'm not even going to ask him to go back to what he was with the Seahawks a few years ago, where he was phenomenal. He was over 4,000 yards passing. How many touchdowns? I don't remember the number.
30 touchdowns.
30 touchdowns. I mean, the numbers are astounding. You're like, wow.
70% completion percentage.
This guy completely turned into a franchise quarterback for a couple of
Mm-hmm.
seasons with Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that long ago, but it's long enough for us to all kind of scratch our heads and squint a little bit and go, yeah, I don't know, man. This is the Jets. You know, this is all these things. So to me, even for me to go and to 8-9 with you,
Mm-hmm.
Geno has to be a competent to more than competent quarterback. He doesn't have to be what he was in Seattle a few years ago, but he needs to be way better than he was the last 2 seasons. And if he is, then I believe the Jets could get there. And maybe they could even, magically get to your 10 wins that you originally predicted if Geno played like he did in Seattle a couple seasons ago. That might even be possible, because that's how contingent football is on one position and one position only, and that is the quarterback position. So that's the whole premise under which I'm willing to go to the promised land with you or not. I don't know if I'm certainly not as confident as you that he's not washed. All right.
Okay.
But, I'm willing to say, boy, the situations that he was in the last couple of years, they probably weren't indicative of where he was still at, and I do have, dare I say, a little bit of faith in the Jets offensive line, which I think is one of the better lines in football. And I think that really matters to a quarterback, that the Jets have a competent running game, and in particular, a very competent running back, and that they've done their due diligence here in the draft to add some real pieces to both the offensive and defensive side of the ball to give them a better chance of succeeding this season. So I'm willing to put all those things in the blender too, to give myself the vision to see that if Geno can be competent to more than competent, okay, that the Jets could get to 8, 9, or dare I say even 10 wins. But it's a lot. It's a lot to put on that. That's all I'm going to say.
So, Lurch, okay, you've now reached, I don't know how often this happens in life, a triple fork in the road, okay? There's road 1, road 2, and road 3. I'm going to explain what each of the roads are. You tell me what is the most likely road that's about to transpire here with Geno Smith.
Fine.
Geno Smith, since coming back from the depths of hell as a journeyman backup quarterback, has been a full-time starter over the last 4 seasons. Prior to that, he was lost in backup quarterback land, and prior to that, he was with the Jets. Okay, so 4 seasons. Okay, there's the Seattle version where he was a starter for 3 years. His numbers during that 3 years in Seattle, he was a top 10 quarterback in every major statistical category. That's touchdowns, completion percentage, passing yards, wins, even like all of them. He was terrific. Top 10 quarterback in Seattle. Okay, so that's one road you could choose to go down. Is he that player? Is that who he is? Road number 2, Las Vegas. Last year, Geno Smith led the league in picks. It was the most sacked quarterback in football, and obviously he was terrible. He was the starting quarterback for the team that had the number 1 overall pick. Not good. Not good at all. Although his completion percentage was pretty good. I think I have that in front of me here. So shout out to him. He had 67% completion percentage last year. That number's actually pretty good. So good. No matter what, he's been a highly accurate. That's the one good thing about all 4 of these years. He's been a highly accurate quarterback. So that he has no matter what, of the good or bad or ugly. Okay. Is he the Raiders quarterback? He's fallen off a cliff. He's 35. Did all the magic just run out? Or path number 3, somewhere in the middle. He's not quite Seahawks, but he's not clearly as bad as he was in Raiders land. You have 3 forks in the road, Lurch. You tell me what's most likely. Is he that Seattle guy, which, again, he's been 3 of the last 4 years, so it says it's happened more often than not. The Raiders year, which is our most recent example, where he was terrible, or a third path where it's some mixed combination of both, a little bit of A, a little bit of B. What do you believe is the truth?
I think that C is the truth,
Okay.
I think that Frank Reich will help him.
Yeah.
I think that offensive line will help him. I think that running game will help him. And I don't think he's as bad as he was with the Raiders last year. To me, that was like, whoa, man, what happened to this guy? But when you took a closer look at it, it's just like, yeah, okay.
There's a lot of dysfunction over there.
It really was. And but part of this too, Boy Green, is also buying into the premise here that the Jets, who were completely and utterly dysfunctional last year, aren't dysfunctional, because it isn't unrealistic to, dare I say, draft a drawing here, that the Jets could be just as incompetent as the Raiders were last year in terms of their leadership and everything else, and that Gino's back in the same cauldron, just with a different jersey on his back this year than he was last year. It's not that far to go down that road, but I'm not going to. I just, you and I both, at the end of last season, as disappointed as we both were in Aaron Glenn's performance, felt like he's not that bad. He's
right. He's not the guy that everyone says, oh, he has to clearly be fired. I didn't see that.
And I think, although in the early stages, when he first started making changes, when it became clear he was staying and the ownership gave him the vote of confidence, and he started making changes, I was like, oh boy, this might be worse.
He's firing a lot of guys.
But I must admit, he kind of got me back a little bit by going out there and getting a few veteran guys, like a guy like Reich, who I think can run that side of the ball, and he's not going to have to worry about it all that much. He needed to do that. Thank God he found a guy that could do that on the offensive side of the ball. So I think that that's going to really, really help him. I also think they had a dynamite draft. I think most talking heads and experts out there, I'm not the only one, think the Jets had a really good draft. I think that's going to help. And they do have returning players who, while they were disappointing last year, I think there are more possibilities of them having bounce back years for some of these players than going the other way or continuing to be as god awful as they were last season. So for all of those reasons, again, I'm willing to land in the middle ground with you. And I don't think that Gino is as bad as he showed last year. I also doubt that he's going to push that sun back up into the sky and become what he was for Seattle a couple of years ago. But I do think he could be somewhere reasonably in the middle. And that should, if their defense plays reasonably well, that should get them to 8-ish wins. I think it's more than possible that they get there. They don't have a brutal schedule. I mean, put it back up there for a second. I mean, come on, man. I mean,
Lurch, you want me to get you this before the show? Let me give it to you, right? Strength of schedule.
Yes. What is it for the Jets? Where the Jets rank in terms of strength of schedule? I just think that this has to be at least in the top 10 weakest schedules in the league. Am I right or wrong about that?
It is. You were wrong.
Okay.
The Jets have the 12th most difficult schedule.
12th most difficult. Wow.
517 winning percentage. Now, I think this should be considered. Just because a team was what they were last year, which is how strength of schedule is determined, by the way, folks. If you don't know, they add up all the wins and losses from last year and stack them all up and rack them and then say, oh, wow, here's your strength of schedule based on last season. Now, that's not an accurate depiction always, right? Bills, yeah, they're pretty good. Yeah, so them being good last year is an indicator that they're really good this year. But not every team is like that. Some teams are really good last year and they fall off a cliff. But yes, the Jets are 12th in strength of schedule.
Okay. All right.
12th most difficult.
I guess. I mean, look, they got Broncos, they got the Vikings, they got the Chiefs. I'm looking at
the NFC North, obviously.
Right, some of those
Packers,
games. They got the Bears, they got the Lions, they got the Packers.
The entire division was above 500 last year.
I think a closer look. I should have looked a little more closely. It's closer look. The reason I guess I just jumped to that conclusion is because I see some eminently winnable games on their schedule. Titans, Browns, Dolphins. That's 4.
Raiders
5.
Cardinals.
And Cardinals. That's 6 games where I'm like, come on. You play your A game.
You're not even thinking. You just said those off the top of your head. Right. So
without any thinking. So that's why when I looked at it at first, but then some of those other games are tough. They've got the Chiefs, they've got the Lions both on the road. That's not easy. They're in a division where 2 of the teams are predicted to do very well in both the Bills and the Patriots. So you have that to deal with. Can you get to 3-3, which I think is doable, but they're going to have to work for it, or is it going to be more like what I said, more like a 2-4?
And look at those 3 quarterbacks in a row: Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, back to back to back, and 2 of those 3 are on the road. That's difficult. So it's
we'll see what the Chargers are. I mean, I thought you could have made a stronger argument for winning at the Chargers, because I don't know. There's just something about the Chargers that I don't know, man. They're just not, to me, they're not what they should be. In terms of their level of difficulty, I don't know. Like they should be.
They haven't won a playoff game. Yeah. They have not won a playoff game.
So that to me is a game that if I'm going to pick one to try and get my team over to the winning side, I might be willing to say. I know it's a road game. Come on, man. The Chargers are eminently pickable here. Anyway, okay.
Well, before we move on, the only thing I want to say here, Lurch, is I just gave you that made up thing I just made up. Like, oh, what 3 paths could it be? Seahawks version, Raiders version, or some mix in between? If you listen to Gino on his first conference call with the media after getting traded, he said the Jets are getting a better version than what Seattle got. And I'm like, ooh wee, a better version. I saw his Seattle numbers. If there's a better version, that's great. So we can only hope that Gino was right there. So beautiful. So all right, there you go. Lurch played the game. I start off at 10-7. You beat me down to 8-9.
Hey.
Let's see your New York Giants now as you
All
play
right.
the
Oh, not yet.
win-loss
Don't
game.
put it on the screen
No,
yet. Before we switch gears here,
Okay.
I want to thank our friends at Northeast Roofing
Of
Professionals,
course.
nerpcny.com, and also our sponsor of today's live show, our friends at Bayberry Automotive. All right. So we will take a quick break and we return, and then indeed I will do the same exercise. Then you will have the opportunity to get me off the ledge if I need to be taken off the ledge, or maybe you want to raise me up, Boy Green. I don't know, depending on which way I go. Am I going to be the eternal optimist or the eternal pessimist or somewhere in the middle? We'll find out. I will go through the Giants schedule and give you my honest, way too early prediction about what I think the Giants are capable of. Boy Green will attempt to talk me off or onto the ledge, and then we will settle on a way too early prediction for the Giants. So we've settled as a team on 8-9 for the Jets. I think somewhat reasonable, considering when my friend started. Let's see what we can do for the Giants. Are the Giants going to be reasonable or unreasonable this season? So we'll do that when we return. All right, quick break from our sponsors, and then we're back. More of the Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital. Don't forget to pop that like button, and if you're not already a subscriber, please do so. We'll be right back.
Integrity is a word that some people just throw around in life. But at Bayberry Automotive, integrity is everything. Integrity of their mechanics, who are all experienced and certified. Integrity in the work they perform, with nothing but 5-star reviews from satisfied customers on Google. Integrity that goes along with family, a family-run business that treats you like one of their own. Integrity in everything. Bayberry Automotive. BayberryAutomotive.com.
Located on Route 57 across from Bayberry Plaza, the premier choice for auto repair in Liverpool.
Finding the right local roofing company can be tricky. You don't want to hire the wrong roofers, or you could end up spending a fortune on repairs. The pros at Northeast Roofing Professionals can ensure your home is protected by a strong and sturdy roof. Locally owned and operated, over 30 years experience, free estimates, and competitively priced. Don't settle for an inexperienced roofing contractor. Turn to Northeast Roofing Professionals. Discounts for military and first responders. Reach out and let them put a sturdy roof over your head. nerpcny.com. nerpcny.com.
All right, we're back. Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital at MC Show Digital. Again, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. We are closing in on 1,000 subscribers. We're now
78 away, I believe.
Right? Yeah, in the 70s. It's in the 70s, right?
Yeah,
in the 70s in terms of how many
78.
more we need. 78 to get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you're already subscribed, we appreciate it. If you have friends, family, other people that love content like we put out, Jets, Giants, Bills, sometimes Syracuse stuff, the Survivor stuff, if you like that on Weird Wednesday nights. We'll be doing some off-season Survivor stuff as well. Then please recommend the channel to them and ask them to subscribe. We get full monetization when we get to 1,000 on YouTube. It also helps just grow the channel. YouTube starts to push our videos out to more and more people, which will help grow the subscribership and give us more resources to provide for all of you. So we appreciate, again, every single one of you have taken the time to click that button over the last 10 months, but we're approaching our 1-year anniversary, and we're trying to get to 1,000 by our 1-year anniversary. So be part of the solution here if you can be. And if you're not subscribed, click subscribe. And if you are, send it out to some friends, share our videos, ask them to subscribe so that, again, we can get ourselves over the hump and on to the next mission here, as they say. But we are right now on a mission to get to 1,000. So appreciate, again, every single one of you who have helped get us as far as we have at this point. Okay, so we heard from Boy Green there on the Jets. I don't know if there's anything else in the comments, Boy Green, on the Jets you want to pop up.
Yes, yeah, I guess now would be the time, I suppose.
The Giants are right. If there's anybody out there,
so
any comments you want to address? We have inevitably settled on 8 and 9, but perhaps there are some other things you might want to touch on before.
Okay, so yes, I saw a few people have some comments. So let me get to all of these here. First off, a shout out to our former intern Brian DeMuro, who said, "Morning, gents. Hope you guys are well. Good to see B. Rye. Good to see you in here. That's terrific." Jesse Owen saying, "I don't know, Paul. To me, it all depends on the first 4 games. 2-2, we're going for it. 0-4, reason tank for Archer Jeremiah Smith. That's true. That first 4, as we've talked about, at Tennessee, home for Green Bay, at Detroit, at Chicago. That's an incredibly difficult schedule. 3 of the first 4 on the road, 3 in a row against the NFC North. First time that's happened for the Jets in 12 years. That's difficult. But I think the key is exactly sort of what you said. You just got to buoy. Got to get a little buoy the ship action here. Is don't sink. That's why Tennessee, I think, is really important. I'm not sure if I'm Jake Asman. Must win. You got to win it or else. Oh, no. What happens? I don't know if I'm that far. But I don't want to denigrate it either. Like, I hope we lose. Like, no. You should beat the Titans. They're in your same weight class. They were terrible last year. You're terrible. Robert Saleh is instituting a brand new program. Brian Dable, offensive coordinator, all of it, all kinds of new stuff all over the place. Offense, defense, everything. So you're playing against someone you should beat. Now, you don't always beat the teams you're supposed to beat. Obviously, that's why they play the games. But that's an eminently winnable game. But Green Bay at home, can you take advantage of no Micah Parsons? There are benefits. If you squint and look at the schedule, there are benefits to playing it. I think surviving at 2-2 is the key. I obviously had them at 3-1, and then I was bullied into 2-2. So I ultimately ended up going with what you're saying here, Jesse. But yes, I think 2-2 is the key. Random Jets question here. Do you think our biggest weakness this year is corner and safety? Absolutely not. Actually, I think corner is one of their strengths. So I would be aggressively on the other side of that. I think the Jets did a lot of homework at corner. Nashawn Wright was a Pro Bowler last year. They invested a top 50 pick in D'Angelo Pons. Now, they don't have Sauce Gardner anymore, so maybe that's what you're referencing. So, no, that's different. But they traded for Minkah Fitzpatrick. I think safety is massively upgraded from last year. If I had to pick a weakness on the Jets, off-ball linebacker beyond Demario Davis is questionable. Let me see. Well, obviously, quarterback. I mean, you just got the number 1 overall picks quarterback. So, a lot of people aren't going to give the Jets credit at quarterback. So, quarterback is definitely a perceived weakness. So, yeah, quarterback and off-ball linebacker, I'd say those are 2 spots there. So, appreciate that, Jesse. And I just saw a lot of people reacting to the schedule I gave that start to the season. I saw a lot of people were not ground and punt on our Twitter said 4-1 start. You're on crack. Thank you, GNP, for that response to the 4-love start. And then Charlie 32741, love the optimism. See, some people perceive things different ways. Very interesting. Tori in here says Boy Green is on Oxycontin, which I don't know if he spelled that correctly, but nonetheless, Tori, appreciate that. So a lot of drug induced predictions is what people believe. That's how you believe it. Oxycodone, as Jared B thinks is what he was trying to say, which is fine. But either way, Jared 3327 says your lips to God's ears, Boy Green. So we'll see what happens. That's it. We'll see what happens.
A little bit of flavor there from everyone.
So thank you for all the Jets comments and everything. And now let's flip it. Do you feel like you're in the right headspace here, Lurch, to do this?
Yes, of course. What do you mean? Why wouldn't I be?
Now you're in the right headspace. Let's turn the sky blue. Although you didn't do that for me, so no offense. That's okay. I'll do it for you because that's the kind of guy I am. But sure, let's get you in a proper headspace here.
Fine. Okay. It does feel better.
I'm sure it does. Great.
All right, let's go to work on the schedule here.
So let me tell this to the
Manchild, way too early prediction on the Giants.
Okay, real quick for people that are looking at this, because sometimes it can be confusing. For this Giant schedule we have presented for you, it reads like a book or a typewriter, left to right. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 across the top. Cha-chink! Reset your typewriter, and then week 5 is under the Dallas Cowboys. So just as you're doing it, it's left to right, left to right, left to right, left to right, all the way down, just so you guys are following along at home. Lurch, I throw the keys over to you, my friend.
All right. So obviously a Sunday night football opener against the Dallas Cowboys for my New York Football Giants. This one is at MetLife.
Right.
Obviously, you have all of the excitement surrounding this new head coach, John Harbaugh, and all of these new coordinators that are putting their minds together, some of whom are former head coaches, to try to build an offense that makes a difference. So there's a lot to swallow there. This is the Dallas Cowboys, who no doubt the Giants have had their problems with, although I would push back in this sense. The last time the Giants faced the Cowboys, it was a W for the Giants. So there you go. End of the season, I understand. Maybe Dallas.
Did they play their backups?
Yeah, they did. But who cares? A win is a win. So at least it's we're off the schneid because Dallas has been dominating us in recent years. This is like the Miami argument for Boy Green if we get to that point. But I just believe all of the excitement, the head coach, Sunday Night Football in your own building.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, but there's no way that the Giants lose this game to open the season. Giants beat the Cowboys on opening night on Sunday Night Football and start the season at 1-0.
I will write down any games I may want to revisit after this. So let me just start with
click there. Get your pen ready.
All right.
Week 2, they travel out to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. We know the Rams in go-for-it mode. They just signed Matthew Stafford now to a fat extension over $50 million. Yada, yada, yada. The Rams are tough. The Rams are very tough in their own building. Giants got to go all the way out there after a Sunday night game. This is another primetime game, right? This is a Thursday night game, I think, right?
It is. Yes, it's right there on the screen. So yeah,
Or
Thursday
it's
or
Monday.
Monday night. Excuse
Oh,
me,
I'm sorry,
Monday
no,
night.
it's Monday night. Okay, so they actually get an extra day. That's
Yes,
good. They got a
correct.
travel day. They got a travel day.
There you go.
I thought it was a Thursday night football game. It's not. It's a Monday night game. So they go Sunday night football to Monday night football. So they do get a full week, and they do get the extra day, dare I say, for travel. Obviously, you got the time difference and everything you're dealing with as well. But I'm not going to go off the deep end here. To me, they split these first two games, and I think they're going to lose to the Rams. I think they're going to win at home against the Cowboys, and they're going to start the season at 1-1. All right, week 3, Tennessee Titans. Again, you talk about just checking off some boxes of some teams that you think you can get a W before the season even starts. I know a lot of teams look at the Jets and the Giants that way. They say, I got the Giants that week. Just give us a W. You got the Jets. Give us a W. All right. But I think the tide is turning here a little bit. I think the Giants back home, back on a normal schedule, 1:00 game, Tennessee in their own building. Giants take care of business, start the season at 2-1. All right.
Whoa,
And the
Brian
Arizona
Dable. What about Brian Dable? The advantage.
Even more reason to get a win right there. Okay. Even more reason to get a win. Like Dable's going to know all our secrets. He couldn't even figure out the team when he had the team. So if anything, he'll give them bad advice about our team, and our team will be that much better. All right. So 2-1 to start. And then the Arizona Cardinals, another one that I just, come on, man. Like, come on, just give me the W, man. Let's just get it on the schedule here. I mean, I know they got Jeremiah Love now. I know they're trying to figure out their quarterback situation, but so early in the season, I think the Cardinals are at this point still a train wreck. And so I will take the Giants to beat the Cardinals. So we're off to a 3-1 start. That is pretty swimmingly. I mean, even if I went negative and had them lose the first two games, which I'm not going to do, but if I did, we'd still be 2-2. But a 3-1 start, I think a really good start. John Harbaugh era essentially gets started off in a really, really big way. All right. Now we go to week 5, and we've got the Washington Commanders. I think the Commanders, were really. I think last season was an anomaly for them. I don't know if they're as good as they were 2 years ago, but I know that they're not as bad as they were last year. Injuries, a little bit of regression, dare I say, not only with their quarterback. I think the real question for the Commanders here is Jaden Daniels going to turn into C.J. Stroud, or is Jaden Daniels going to be the franchise quarterback that he appeared to be in year one? In his rookie year. And that is a big question. That is a big, big question mark. Because if it's the latter, they are a bad team, and I should probably be putting a W on the board here for the Giants. But if they're not, okay, and this guy returns to form, then they're a contender for the division. And this is a very difficult game on the road. So I'm going to go with the latter. And I'm going to say that Washington is improved, and that the Giants are going to fall to Washington here in week 5. So now the Giants sit
on the road,
at 3-2, correct, on the road against Washington. Okay. Right, so I've got win, loss, win, win, loss. All right, we make our way to week 6, the New Orleans Saints. And again, you look at games on your schedule, you say, let me check the box for another W, and it's another home game against a rather weak opponent.
Weak?
Yes, I think they're weak. I will take the Giants to beat the Saints at home. Wow. Okay, we're back home. Look at those 3 games. Okay? Not only do they get 3 relatively easy opponents in weeks 3, 4, and 6, but all 3 of them are at MetLife. I mean, to me, you have to chalk them down as wins. They have to be wins. So
I think that they can beat the Saints, but to count them out as Tyler Shuck looked great at the end of last year. I don't know. He could have been the offensive rookie of the year if it didn't go to Tedero McMillan. But all right.
Tyler Shuck will be running for his life with that defensive line getting after him. So, no, thank you.
Okay.
It'll look good and comfortable. He won't be comfortable that day. So Giants take care of business against the Saints. And so the Giants off to a very nice start. 2 losses on the road and 4 home wins to start the season is what I have for the Giants.
Wow.
4-2 through 6 weeks. Week 7, they head off to the Texans. That's a brutal defense. There's a lot to process here. Again, I'm not going to go off the deep end here. Texans beat the Giants in week 7 on the road for the Giants. And so we get to the bye week, and the Giants are now sitting at 4-3, right?
Undefeated at home, winless on the road.
Correct. I mean,
interesting
place to land, but to me, that's the way the schedule is just fitting here.
Okay.
If we can flip that during the remaining weeks, all right? Again, we'll give a W for the bye week, and then we move on to week number 8. Okay.
Yes. Week 9. Week 9. Because week 8 is the bye.
Right. Week 9. Okay. Week 9. Yeah. Game 8. Okay. Yes. So the Giants get the relatively early bye. Okay. Yep.
Yep.
And now they. I wish they had that bye later. I do not like the early bye. I would want that bye to be a couple weeks later at least. But okay, it is what it is. The schedule makers gave them a bye in week 8, so now they trudge on to week 9. Philadelphia Eagles on the road.
Oof.
I think you'll see a theme for me here in the division
Okay.
for the Giants. Okay.
Right.
And
Right.
that theme is going to go back to the old days, Boy Green, when the Giants were, even in years that they were pretty good,
Mhm.
generally speaking, the way that you could almost chalk it up year in and year out is split, split, split. All right.
Okay.
And I think I'm not sure. I've got my wins and losses marked down here, but I'm pretty sure, without even going back and looking at what I wrote down, that that's the way I'm going to play it here in the division.
Okay.
And that doesn't mean you always win on the road or lose
All right.
or win at home or lose on the road.
Right.
Sometimes
It can happen.
but if
Yeah,
you
right.
if they get you at home, it just you get it back on the road. You
Sure,
know,
sure. Okay.
the split is imminent, and I think that the split will be imminent for the Giants this year. So just again for the process of okay, I'm going to just play it by the numbers here, and I'll give us the wins at home and the losses on the road. That's just the way I'm going to play it.
Okay.
But it could go the either way. So,
Sure.
so I'm just going to say, hey, we're in week 9. They're on the road against the Eagles. I'm going to give that game to the Eagles.
Okay. Fair enough.
And
All
then
right.
they're back home for a Thursday night affair the week after
That's
that
correct.
against the Commanders. They've already lost to the Commanders in week number 5. Guess what?
Yeah.
In week 10, they come back. They're home. They beat the Commanders.
Okay. Short week. Okay.
We get the split of the Commanders, and life is on its axis. The world is on its axis.
Sure.
All right, week 11, a pivotal game here. All right, you've got a
Okay.
pretty good, Jaguars team. Certainly, Trevor Lawrence has kind of refound himself now with the new leadership there.
Mhm.
They're a tough team, but I just like the Giants against this team. I
And
like
they're at home. Giants are at home.
coming up to MetLife. The Giants with a little momentum. They'll have the extra prep time coming out of the Thursday night football
That's
game.
correct.
Which
Mini
I'm
bye.
predicting
Yep.
is a win.
Mhm.
Extra time to prepare. I think the Giants have the capability to take out the Jacksonville Jaguars. I have them winning in week 11 against the Jags. All right. Week 12. Very interesting matchup here in week 12. They're on the road. The Giants have not won a road game, according to my predictions so far this season, against anybody. And they get Daniel Jones and the
Oh,
Colts.
my goodness. What
By
a
the
game.
way,
How did this
that's
not get in
assuming,
prime
by the way.
time?
Right.
I
That's
would have loved
assuming,
this.
by the way, that
Yeah.
Daniel Jones is actually in the lineup.
Oh, I
and
guess
playing
that's
football
true.
in
Yeah,
week
yeah,
number 12. I
yeah.
mean, he has a penchant for getting hurt. So, here we go. So they take out the. So I'm going to have them win on the road. They get their first road win
Against
here.
Daniel
All
Jones.
right,
Wow.
in week 12, and the revenge game against Daniel Jones, if indeed Daniel Jones is even playing. All right. Week 10, they're back home. Again, according to my predictions, the Giants.
Whoa. Week 13.
Week
right?
13. I'm sorry. Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
The numbers are so small. I put on my
That's okay.
glasses.
I'll help you here if ever there's just
Right. So
yeah.
week 13. So
yeah.
win against. So I've got them. 3 wins in a row here. I've got them beating Washington. I've got them beating Jacksonville at home, and then I've got them getting their first road win of the season in Indianapolis. All right.
Okay.
Now they come back home to the cozy confines to take on the San Francisco 49ers. And since I don't have them losing at home yet, I'm going to give one up here, Boy Green. So I'm taking one on the road against Daniel Jones. I'm giving one back here at home against San Francisco.
Sure.
Giants lose to San Francisco in week 13. All right. Then they've got a pretty good team there.
Oh my
They're going to be on the road. It's at the 12th man. Okay, that crazy
defending
place
Super Bowl champs.
So I'll just chalk that down as an L and move on. I'm not going to get
there
too far ahead
Fair
of
enough.
myself. Lost there. So they lose back-to-backers in week 13 and 14.
Okay.
Then they come back home to the cozy confines after losing a game at home. The Browns, just the elixir the Giants need. Give me the W there. Okay, Giants win in week 15 at Cleveland. All right.
No, home for Cleveland.
Home against Cleveland. All right. So they're back home for that. Then they're on the road against Detroit. I know, Boy Green, you like wins against Detroit on the road. I don't.
Monday Night Football.
It's a tough game. That's a tough place. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt here that Detroit is what they were a couple of years ago. They're going to be back in the mix again. They're going to be a playoff team. So I'm going to give that game away. I'm going to say Detroit beats the Giants on Monday Night Football in week 16. All right, 2 games left, both league games. Dallas in their building, and then Philadelphia comes to the Meadowlands. I'm going to say loss to Dallas here. I have them winning at home in week 1. I'm going to have them losing to Dallas in week 17. And then finally, we get to week 18, and I'm going to stick by my premise. I have them losing in Philadelphia. I'm going to have them winning at home against the Eagles to close out the season. So if you put it all in the blender, mix it all up, Boy Green, the end result is, according to the Manchild, way too early prediction, Giants 10-7 on this football season in their first year under Coach John Harbaugh.
And if I heard you correct, you're 1-7 on the road this season?
And yeah, that would be 1-7 on the road, right?
Rams, Washington, Houston, Philly. You
very
gave
road
yourself
home,
Indy.
you know. This is a very road
wow.
home thing.
That is interesting. Okay, wow. That's an interesting result. Okay, well, so your final record is
10-7.
We ended up in the same place. Isn't that funny? Well, we'll see if I can beat you down. Really, to be honest, I think you gave a very fair assessment as we're going through tough situations, not tough situations. I mean, I'm obviously, I clicked my pen, but I only got to use
now.
it.
He's clicking
Yeah.
away. So which
Yeah, I
ones
know.
do you want to argue for back, and maybe you can convince me? I have him at
Okay,
10-7.
Yeah.
Okay, at first blush, it is
Yes.
certainly a glass is half full kind of prediction, but I think they're more than capable of getting 10 wins.
Okay.
And so I've broken it down the way I broke it down.
All right, so let's start here. We'll start with some trivia. Lurch, over the last 18 matchups versus the Dallas Cowboys, what do you think the Giants' record is over the last 18 matchups against
It's
the Dallas
terrible.
Cowboys?
3 and whatever. 3-15.
You gave yourself too much credit. 16-2 is the
Yeah.
Cowboys' record against the Giants.
Yep.
So I know you say in the heyday, right? And I don't I know other divisions get this title of black and blue divisions, right? AFC North and other. NFC East to me is a black and blue division. You guys beat the crap out of each other. And again, my dad being a Cowboys fan, I've seen a lot of NFC East games, and I watch good games in general, but I don't know, man. And I'm not saying the Cowboys are the 1990s Cowboys here. Clearly, they're not. They're coming off an off year, clearly. But it just seems like Dallas has had the Giants number, and until proven otherwise, especially week one. Like, if I'm not a Giants fan, but how do you not have flashbacks to the 40-0 beatdown the last time we had a Giants Cowboys opener? Like, that must have been brutal. Giant fans waited all night long. It was a primetime game too. Oh man, can't wait. Week one, so much eternal optimism. We're undefeated, and you got beat with a wrench 40-0 in your opener. Like, I'd be having nightmares if I'm a Giants fan seeing that in week one. Come on, Lurch. 16-2 is the Cowboys record against you guys.
Here's what doesn't scare me. I still think their defense is incredibly suspect. And I do think that this week one game with Harbaugh in place, this being on prime time, and this being in their own building is going to add a lot of zip to this Giants team. I just have faith. I just think they're going to come out of the chute and win a game here for Harbaugh. So that is a rose color. And all right, let me ask you this then. All right. So you're trying to push back on the Cowboys. All right.
Yes.
But then if I'm to believe your premise, then clearly you're going to predict a Cowboys sweep, right?
No,
Cowboys,
actually, not necessarily. Right. So here's the thing, right?
So let's highlight it because because here I am. All right.
Okay.
I will say this. I honestly believe in the league. They're going to go 1-1 against each of the three teams.
Okay.
All right. And I just said at the beginning of this, I'm just going to say they win at home, win on the road, lose on the road, but it could go either way. I could totally see it flipping. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, the one thing I would choose to highlight here is, so the Giants have gone 2-16 against the Cowboys in this last 18 matchups. And here's that's a brutal stat. I don't need to say anything else. But here's another brutal part of that stat. Lurch, do you know when those two Giants wins have come?
No.
January.
Well, yeah,
in both of
the
them.
Giants just won that meaningless one at the end of this year.
And the other one they won, which was January 3rd, 2021, when the season's over. So they never beat them. And then the two times they have, it's been in January, which normally should be a game that matters, but it hasn't. So I don't know. That one
this
seems
is a different
like
Giants team. Is my argument against this is going to be this is a different Giants team. This is where things turn. This is where there's where homeostasis returns. The Giants have been out of whack. They've been, it's been losses way up here, wins way down here. And I do think that the Harbaugh effect is going to swing that pendulum back to here. All right. I'm not predicting here. Okay. I'm predicting here. All right. I know 10-7, and we can argue about some of these games, and there's more games to be argued about, I'm sure. But I think they're gonna go back to the norm of splitting these league games, and they've done that, by the way, in years that they've been really good in some years.
Sure.
It's just tough to win twice against opponents in your league unless you're really down in the mouth. And the Giants have been. They've been terrible, in recent years. I just don't think they're going to be terrible this year. I think they've figured out their quarterback situation. I think they have massively upgraded their coaching situation, and I think they had a really good draft. I think for all of those reasons, they're going to be a much improved team. How improved, of course, is a matter of suspect. And, of course, as being a Giant fan, I'm going to see it a little bit more through blue-colored glasses, I'm sure. But I do think it's very realistic they're going to split with the Cowboys. So I don't care. You want to give me week 17 instead of week 1? It isn't going to change the record at this point for me and the Giants. So I'm pushing back on that one and not agreeing to kowtow to your thing. So the Giants remain 10-7 at this particular juncture. Go on.
All right, Manchild. We've known each other for what, a decade now? It's been a long 10 years, 11 years. Let's play a game. Friends love playing this. I'm going to play 20 questions, but I don't have 20 questions. It's far fewer. But let's play. I just want to learn some info here.
Fine.
Do you believe Jackson Dart is a franchise quarterback?
Yes, I do.
If you had to rank the 32 quarterbacks, and I'm not going to go through the entire exercise of going each one, so you're spitballing a little bit here, where would you place Jackson Dart in the 32 starting quarterbacks in the National Football League? Off the top of your head. Yeah, at this point, with all the information you have right now in this moment in time as I'm asking you this question, not projecting, just what he is right now. He is what? Where does he sit?
I mean, I'd love to make a list and then put them on.
Of course. And then you could, and I'm sure.
But I don't have time to do that. So I'm going to spitball, dare I say, a little bit here without knowing this question was coming. I'm going to say.
Okay, I'm going to write down a number on my hand.
13.
Oh, come on.
That's correct.
Dude.
I'm going to put them 13, 14.
Oh, wow.
I'll go 14. I'll go with the lesser number since you're so shocked by my prediction.
So when you started pondering, I'm like, let me write a number on my hand of what I think. Again, I just came up with this question in the moment.
Okay, let me answer the question this way. Okay. All right. This is, you know what? Our next show together. All right. I know you're not going to do the live show with me on Wednesday because you're out of town. All right. So I'll be doing that with Matt Lombardo. The next time we get together,
we're going to play this game.
It'll be next Monday's show. All right. One of the topics I want to put on the table for me and you, since it has now come up in this discussion, is to create tiers for the NFL, the current NFL quarterbacks. Okay. You're going to create your tiers, and I'm going to create my tiers. When we do fantasy football, and you and I are both, avid fantasy football players, okay? I always, when I make my draft board to come into that draft, that fantasy draft, and do our live draft, I put players in tiers, all right? And then I put little, like, color-coded, all right? This is my A tier, this is my B tier, right? And I layer them up, all right? We see fantasy football experts do this all the time as well when they're prepping people for these drafts, all right? What I want to do is I want to create tiers for the NFL quarterbacks, all right? Okay. And it'll be fascinating to see what tier you put Geno Smith and what tier I put Jackson Dart and vice versa, okay?
I'm sure.
Because we're going to create tiers. And here's what I'm going to say about Jackson Dart. You're like shocked and like, oh my God.
Because I'll tell you this before you even go on. Because again, I had not thought about this question for 10 years. It spurred the moment and just hit me. Let me ask him these two questions. And then when you were thinking about it, on my hand, I imaginary wrote a number on my hand. What number do you think I wrote on my hand of where I believe he stands in the 32 starting quarterbacks?
22, my favorite number.
It was 22, your favorite number. And in the moment, I'm just thinking about it for a second. I'm like, right now, 22. It's the imaginary. I'm showing you my hand, but there's nothing on there. I didn't write it in ink. 22. So to have him at 13, 14, like what? That's an entire. There's multiple tiers above.
I want to be clear about what I'm saying here so people don't think I'm like completely off the deep end here. Okay?
Okay.
My prediction of, let's say, I'm saying 14, 15, 13. So I said 13, 14. Let's just settle on 14. All right? 14. All right? Let's forget about the number for a minute. What I'm going to say is, and that show in a week from today, all right?
Sure, right, great.
Perhaps we'll prove it. We'll see. All right? Because I haven't done this exercise. This is a brand new exercise for the two of us.
Sure.
All right? Is what I think I'm going to find is I am going to have Jackson Dart on a tier with a group of other players
who
are going to fall in between that world of like 12, 13, and 18, 19, 20, okay? There's going to be a tier of guys, and he's going to be on that tier with those guys. Now, I want to be clear about what I'm saying here.
Okay.
That can't be based on what he did in one season. I mean, all we saw is one season of Jackson Dart,
and not even a full season. Right.
Not even
Russell
a full
Wilson
season,
started a
right.
bunch
He came
of
in
games,
late, so we got 2/3 of a season under a now defunct coach who's been shipped off somewhere else to go try to figure it out somewhere else with someone else as an offensive coordinator. Okay, all right. So that's all I have to go on statistically.
Yes.
My assessment of him on this tier that I think is somewhere in that 14 world is potential, is what I saw last year, what I saw of him in college, and getting now with an organization that I think has kind of put their act together offensively. I know there are a lot of doubters out there about Matt Nagy, and I don't blame you if you are, but the guy did work with Andy Reid. Okay.
Sure.
He was a head coach in the NFL. All right. And he's not going to have to do this on his own because he's got Callahan and he's got, what's his name? The other guy, Roman. All right. Who have been,
Greg Roman,
offensive coordinators in other places. Okay. They got 3 minds to put around this offensive thing. And then, of course, they have the ultimate supervisor in John Harbaugh, who, he may not be in there calling the plays, but Harbaugh is going to have say about what the Giants are doing. And so I just have faith that leadership is going to make this guy a much better player. If this guy could be what he was last year for 2/3 of a season under Brian Daboll, I have to imagine a much better world under these 3 guys plus a obviously competent head coach, 4 new heads around him that are going to give him good advice, not bad advice, or not no advice, okay? And an improved offensive line that I think already was showing signs last year, and they expended a top 10 draft pick on a guy that's going to plug and play into that line. I just think the signs are there that this guy's going to be better than he was during those 2/3 of last season, and that's why I'm willing to put him on the tier that I'm willing to put him. And you'll see when I make my tiers. I think you'll see. All right, we'll see.
Okay.
If people want to be critics, that you're open to that. I think you'll see that the other people that I put on his tier, I think are very reasonable to put on his tier. Okay. And we're going to say, hey, you're right, Lurch. I mean, he could be, 21st, but he also could be 13th because he's on this tier with this group of guys that spans that spectrum. That's how we're going to do it. All right.
Well, first off, you're welcome. In the middle of the summer, coming up with topics is very difficult. So to come up with that one, that sounds terrific. What a great show. What a great tease a week out. So you're welcome, number 1. And number 2, let's get back to your list here.
Okay. Right. So all right. So far I'm still sitting at 10-7. You tried to get me for the Cowboys, but you're willing to concede that they'll win one of those 2 games. So we're still at 10-7. What other games you want to attack me on?
Which, by the way, real quick, if I'm a Giants fan, I want to win a Cowboys game that matters. I want it that the Cowboys are interested, I'm interested, and it matters. In week 1, clearly.
I like that too, but I don't care. Anytime you get a chance to beat the Cowboys is a good day.
Perhaps.
So
I don't know.
Yeah,
Perhaps. Again, I won't. You've given fair analysis on a lot of these games. I will just go back to just say I think there are some massive levels of disrespect happening here with the New Orleans Saints here. That I still think they can win. Definitely, you're at home. Like, there's a lot of reasons to say you can win. I'm not saying I'm not saying this is the Rams here. I'm like, wow, Lurch, you were way off your rocker predicting this is win. But just the brushing aside, I think you will be uniquely surprised when we get to that game. They added what's his name, the Arizona State wide receiver Jordan Tyson in the first round, top 10 pick.
He'll be hurt for that.
Olave, probably. I can't deny that. That's probably true.
Olave doesn't scare me. He's a good player, but he doesn't scare me. No, thank you.
That's interesting. Anywho,
Malik Neighbors probably back for sure by that game. I'm feeling pretty good about the Giants.
Yeah. That's the other thing I didn't mention for the Cowboys game is Malik Neighbors, the second surgery. I don't know about that. That's interesting. But no, like I said, I won't push you back on the game just to mention the comment of it. The other one, what was the other one?
So you're not moving me on the Saints. Sorry, no chance you're going to move me on the Saints.
And I didn't want to move you on the Saints, to be honest, just to say, hey, man.
But you just want me to respect the Saints a little bit more.
A little bit more. Okay. I mean, who day?
I respect them, but we'll still win.
Who dat? Yeah, Bengals are who day. Yeah, but who dat is what I was looking for. And then the other, I respect that you like the 49ers and Seahawks, like those are very difficult games. You're going coast to coast.
I have losing both.
With those back to back. You had them losing both. I respect that. I give you a tip of the cap for that one. And we'll see on Philly. Like that's another one you say is a split. I'll have to double check. I know I knew the Cowboys went pretty good, but let me see Eagles Giants. You probably don't know it off. Yeah,
they did split last year.
Yeah, and Jackson Dart, did he win that one like on Thursday Night Football or something?
Yeah, I mean, I pulled up the thing. I'll tell you what it was. Okay. Let's see. They beat the 2 games with Philly last year.
Yeah.
They won on October 9th. Okay. And they won 34-17. That one was at the Meadowlands. And then 2 weeks later, they played again. There was a game against Denver in between. October 26th, maybe there's a bye week in there. October 26th, no, that was a Thursday night game against the Eagles that they won. All right. And then October 26th, a couple of Sundays later, they lost to the Eagles 38-20 in Philadelphia. So that was against Philly last year.
Oh, dear God. Okay, let me see. How many? 1, 2,
By the way, in last
3.
year, so let's see. In last year, where were the wins? Chargers, Eagles.
Yeah, the Chargers upset. I remember that one.
Chargers, Eagles, Vegas, Dallas. So they won. They split with everyone except for Washington last year. Somehow Washington beat them twice. Good grief.
When they were terrible. Like, come on, man.
No, that'll be revenge. That'll be revenge there.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Hopefully.
Let me do quick math here. 1, 2, 3.
Grief.
Okay, let me see. Okay. Oh my God, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh dear God. Oh Lurch. I don't know, man.
What is it?
18, 19, oh dear.
Got a stat you're gonna throw at me now for
Yes, I am. There is I thought this was gonna be
strong evidence that I'm out of my mind. Go ahead.
Oh
Tell me why.
Jesus. Okay. Eagles Giants games. I'm going to give you a sample size of 25 games. The last 25 games, what do you believe the Giants record is against the Eagles over the last 25 games?
The last 25. I mean, the Eagles have been pretty good in recent years. So over the last 25 games, that's basically what, like 12 seasons.
Yeah, that's just like a pretty good sample size.
What are the Giants the last 25 games against the Eagles?
25 games. Give me their record against the Eagles. Yeah.
I'm going to guess 9-16.
20-5. The Eagles have beat the Giants 20 times in the last 25 matchups.
5-20.
Yeah, sure, right. Yeah, flip it the other way. Right, the Giants are 5-20. 5-20, and you're selling me these like against the Cowboys, right? In your last 18 games, you're 2-16.
These two teams have been miserable for the last decade, man.
This is nothing, sir. This has nothing to do with the Jets. This has nothing to do with the Jets. I'm just telling you. You're telling me, hey, man, we're going to split with everybody. Yahoo!
Let me say,
I didn't have them split.
And respectable is respectable. That's all.
I had us getting swept by Buffalo, so I there's respect there. They've been kicking our ass. I gave the sweep, but like, look at this: 20-5, 16-2 against you for the Cowboys
last year. We only had 4 wins, and we split with them last year. You don't think we could split with them this year?
20-5 says something else. A 1-year sample size versus a 12-year sample size. I don't know, man.
I'm on the fence. I might be willing to give you one of those back. It depends on what.
Probably would. That'd be one I'd push. Yeah. I mean, I push back on 2 NFC East things.
I think a piece of this puzzle for John Harbaugh and for this organization, a piece of this puzzle, a starting piece, I'll call it, okay?
Yeah.
To get this puzzle in order, all right, is to begin the process of, at the minimum, splitting with your division opponents. So I have predicted here a season where the Giants split with all 3 division opponents. Doesn't mean they can't beat Washington too. If Washington's really as bad as they were last year, the Giants should be able to beat them too, but they lost both of them last year. Giants did split with the Cowboys, and they did split with the Eagles last year, and they only won 4 games, so they still managed to get 2 of them. I think there will be a concerted effort to do the split again this year, and I think they can go 3-3. But
by the way,
I'd be willing to give you back the Eagles game, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe.
All right, here's another thing.
Me on anything else. Let's see what else you want to attack me on.
No, that's it. That's the only things.
That's it? No Jaguars, no Colts. You're not willing to
wow. Okay. I mean, the Daniel Jones thing is fun. I don't know how that wasn't in primetime. Maybe because you don't know if Daniel Jones is going to be healthy. That could be a flex opportunity.
That's the end of your attacks.
Yeah.
Then I will concede back the Eagle game. Okay.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
I am conceding you potentially the opener against the Cowboys, but then you'll give me the win on the other end of the season. So either way, it's a split with the Cowboys. All right. I'll let the Eagles sweep the Giants this year, even though I don't believe it to be true. I will. And I will lower my prediction to 9-8.
Okay. Which again, if you're 9-8 your first season with Harbaugh,
very surprised
everything that's happened
back on Jacksonville or the Colts. Can I ask why you aren't pushing back on
so I mean, Jacksonville's a really good team.
What did they win last year? They were like 12 wins or something. I mean, they were
something like that. Yeah, let me see what
really good. They were 13-4.
Oh wow. Year. Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's
last year. Just glossing over them. I don't mind it, Boy Green. You just gloss right over those Jacksonville.
Yeah.
It's the old North. The South team coming up north in November.
That too. Also, which Trevor Lawrence are we getting? Are we getting long locks Trevor Lawrence, or are we getting short schedule release video Trevor Lawrence?
And
where he had
as I mentioned when we went through the schedule, Giants with the extra prep days coming off of the Thursday night football.
mini bye week. That's a great point. Great thing to
Mini
highlight.
bye, a little more prep time for all those reasons. And again, that game at the Meadowlands gives me a little more hope that the Giants, even though they're facing a team that was far superior to them last year, opposites, 14-4, 13-4. I understand what I'm saying here. May seem nuts. I think the Jags are susceptible. I think the Giants could get them.
Yeah, and I would say
I don't fear the Colts. I really don't. I don't fear Daniel Jones. I don't fear the Colts. I don't. I just don't. I don't think that's an incredibly difficult place to win in, like I would say about Seattle and Detroit and some of these, and then Houston. These are tough buildings to go in and win. LA, these are tough places to go and win. I don't think it's that hard to go in and win in Indiana.
I don't either. To be candid, I think the Colts are going to have a top 10 pick this year, which will belong to the Jets. Now, if they're going to get up for any game for Daniel, they're definitely going to hype him up all week. This is the team that gave up on you. This is the team that did this, even though apparently requested his release. But whatever. The point is that if he gets up for any game, it will be that one. But I'm not going to give you major pushback. Indianapolis, to me, is not a tough place to play at all. So I don't have that at all. But Lurch, the other thing we did for the Jets, we'll do it for you. Where do you believe, maybe you know this information, do you know where the Giants' strength of schedule is?
I don't. That's why I said
okay.
I have no idea.
Yes.
Let me see if I can do a better assessment than I did for the Jets.
Okay.
They were the 10th easiest, and then when I did look at it more closely, I was like, yeah, you're right. They're not
12th most difficult.
All right. The 12th most difficult. The Giants. They always get the short end of the straw. I feel like with these things, they should have an easy schedule, and instead look at it's because of the divisions you play.
And the Rams,
right? The Lions. They get the Rams. They get the Seahawks. They get the 49ers. They get a 13-4 Jaguar team that I'm predicting to get a win against. I mean, my goodness, I mean, and then the weaker games, they're lucky that they get that division with
Titans,
the Saints,
Cardinals,
and the Cardinals who are down in the mouth a little bit. That helps soften the schedule a little bit.
Sure.
I'm gonna say
32 teams.
Somewhere middle-ish. You said the Jets were what?
12th most difficult.
Most difficult. So let me go on the most difficult.
Correct. To be on the same range.
And I'll say Giants 15th most difficult. Am I close?
You are 17th most difficult. 17th. So run in the middle, which, by the way, if you are a team, you can't complain about that. You're in the middle. Like, hey, that's where I want to be. You want to be easy or middle. And you're obviously below average in terms of difficult. More teams, in theory, if you were to believe this stat.
I want to know how our teams can get that New England schedule from last year. That's what I
want. Oh, please.
Yes. I mean,
oh, my God. Softball. Sign me up. So there you go. That's our win-loss game, which was interesting. And I see people asking questions like, where's Geno Smith in the quarterback rankings? We'll do that show next week. We'll find out all together where I believe.
Do the tiers. I think that's a good idea. Do the tiers and to see where that all stands. So that was a good exercise. In the end, to answer the overarching question of the Jets versus the Giants and who has the better record, at final blush, without tainting it, the Giants 9 wins, the Jets 8 wins is what we've convinced ourselves.
After pushing, right? Yeah, right. After pushing.
And the arguments, Giants get 9, the Jets get 8. So let's find out if indeed the Giants do win more football games than the Jets this season. We shall see. Again, I think it will all come down to one very simple thing: quarterback play
for both teams. Quite frankly,
We'll decide whether that's even realistic to put those things on the table. And let's also see how these teams enter the season health-wise. There is, as Green and I have intimated a couple times in this conversation,
neighbors.
What is going on with Malik Neighbors? I mean, this whole thing.
I don't feel good.
It's just, they had to go back in and scope him again and clean up scar tissue. Oh boy, that kind of sounds like a redo. Which I mean, he got this injury. Don't forget, he got this injury in week 4, I think, of last season. Like it was at the beginning of last season. He's had the entire season almost, plus the off season to get healthy. And he's
now to reset it.
So that's not good. It's not good. So it's starting to feel more and more like he's not ready for week 1. And then why are you going to inject him early? You got to get him back to 100 before you put him in the lineup, which is, I mean, is he a guy that's going to miss half the season? I mean, I don't think it's unrealistic to start thinking about that if you're a crazy Giant fan. So just be aware. Be aware of this.
Be welcome for the OBJ comeback, Lurch. You seem like you have a void now.
Yeah. Well, like John Harbaugh said, he'll be deciding that sometime around the end of camp or the beginning of camp or
He
something
might be
like that.
deciding that sooner after this Malik Neighbors news.
Might be. It might be. Okay. So that's where we end up standing on that. So that was a good exercise. I liked it. That was very entertaining and enjoyable. Again, just remind people again, today is the beginning of our new raffle. We gave away our items from last month, and now we're on to a new raffle. And again, on the scrolling ticker below, how you get raffle tickets, what the prizes are. Real quickly, I'll just whip them up here real quick. Pretty
Please.
cool, unique prizes for anyone that came in late today. This metallic cool poster of Muhammad Ali standing over Sonny Liston. Oh, look at that, man. There's Liston flat on his back with the date, and it's again, it's metal. It's made of like tin. Very cool. All right. To go along with that, this very cool autographed book that is a boxing book written by Muhammad Ali's former trainer, Angelo Dundee, all right, world famous trainer of Muhammad Ali. And Dundee wrote this book, My View from the Corner. Dundee is no longer alive. Neither is Burt Randolph Sugar, who also co-authored this book with Angelo Dundee, the great boxing writer of all time. All right. And it is autographed by both guys on the inside cover. Look at that. Angelo Dundee and Burt Sugar, both no longer with us. So you're not getting these autographs anywhere else. So it's going to be those two cool boxing items. And
a quick question, Lurch, is does Angelo Dundee have any relation to Crocodile Dundee?
No relation whatsoever.
That's too bad.
Nice try. Then these two cool golf hats, all right, for Father's Day, since the U.S. Open is going to be at Shinnecock this year on Father's Day weekend, which comes up right before we do our raffle, the weekend of the 21st, which is actually Father's Day. All right. Yeah. These two beautiful white adjustable hats. All right. Gorgeous. All right. Never worn before. All right. So you get yourself a nice little golf Father's Day kind of thing right there. And the last thing is the pint glass, the laser engraved 12th Manchild pint glass. Lovely, lovely. One of those going out the door. So all of those prizes this month's raffle. And again, you get tickets by becoming a member if you're not already, gifting memberships, super chats, super stickers. All right. And you can get bonus if you do multiple. All right. You do 5 or more gift memberships. You gift 5 or more memberships. You get 20 raffle tickets. And if you're already either a Hall of Fame member or a diehard member, you automatically get tickets for the month. So both Zay Engineer and Jamie, the FedEx guy, who are Hall of Fame members, boom, already have 20 raffle tickets and have to do anything other than just be Hall of Fame members. And we did bonus, by the way, Boy Green, as the scrolling ticker comes up here with our leaderboard. I did bonus some people some tickets that are not even aware of this. I gave MFC and Big Al each 2 raffle tickets for doing nothing. What have they done? They've been members since we started memberships for 3 straight months. I gave them some. And T-Town Jet, who's now been in for a couple of months, 2 months of the 3 months that we've had membership in existence, also got himself a raffle ticket for doing nothing, just by being a member and supporting the channel. So we'll continue to do that certainly through the early months of our thing. All right, last couple of items before we say goodbye today. Number one, I do want to touch on this before we get out of here today, and that was the passing, the very, very unfortunate passing, sad, tragic, of Kyle Busch, the race car driver. He was honored at Indianapolis. He was also honored, him and his family, at the NASCAR race over the weekend.
Indy 500,
very moving. Did I say in the Indy 500 and the NASCAR race? Yeah. Very, very moving tribute in both venues. And this is just a terrible, sad thing. This is a 41-year-old guy who was having some kind of sinus issue, turns into really bad pneumonia, and then eventually leads to sepsis, which is a very dangerous disease, and essentially takes him out, which is remarkable. He leaves kids and a wife and the whole 9 yards. So that's really, really a sad, needs to be mentioned story. I know it was all over the headlines, but I did want to address that in our show today. So I wanted to throw that out there. And what was the other thing to get to today? Boy, I should have.
NBA playoffs, I assume?
Oh, yeah, the NBA playoffs. Yes. Thank you, boy. Yeah, just forgot about that little detail. Tonight, again, the Knicks back on the court in Cleveland. But, man, the Knicks have dominated this series. There is no question about it. The Knicks have just dominated professional basketball playoffs. They've won 10 straight playoff games. Their margin of victory is like the greatest in the history of the NBA playoffs, and they continue to build on that. And really, to be honest with you, and I said it on our Friday conversation with Sean Devaney when we talked about both of these series in detail. I said to Sean, I think 2 things are going to happen here in the next few days. Number one, the Knicks are going to take out the Cavs in 4 no more than 5 games. To me, the way the Cavs lost game 1 was a clear indication to me that they have no chance now to win this series, and it's just a question of how quickly the Knicks get it over with. And now after game 3, where they just blew the doors off them, and the Cavs literally quit in their own building, the last 5 minutes of that game, they just stopped playing. All right? To me, a sweep is imminent. maybe there's a very, very small outside chance that the Cavs could
Gentlemen sweep.
put out an effort tonight and get a win at home. I mean, they're playing in their own building. They should be able to be capable of beating the Knicks once in this series. But I don't think they will. But at worst, it's going to be a gentleman's sweep in 5 games. I think the Knicks would love to get it over with tonight, get all that extra rest. And I predicted to Sean Devaney on Friday, and he didn't agree with me, that I thought that West Conference thing is going 6 or 7. Now it's guaranteed 6. Wembanyama and company responded in a big way last night in San Antonio. So now they've both split on their home floor. OKC still has the home court. They've got 2 of the final 3 games.
5, 6, 7,
number 1
right,
seed in their building. So they're still the favorites. But I'll tell you, that series could go either way. I think it's going 7 games. I told Devaney 6 or 7. He disagreed with me, thought it would go 5. I told him the Knicks was going to go 4 or 5. He thought it might go 6 or 7. Long story short, I had it right. He had it wrong. And we'll see how this all plays out. But I think the Knicks are going to take care of business. But that's where the NBA playoffs are right now. I'd still say no matter what, the Knicks will not be favored in the NBA Finals, no matter which of the teams they play. So. But I love this. I love that the Knicks are being treated as underdogs. I love that everybody's underestimating them. I know everybody's just saying, oh, look at those guys in the West. They're so good. The Knicks, no way.
Yeah, the NBA Finals is happening right now is what they say in the West. Right.
Good luck. We'll see. I've seen this story written time and time again in the NBA. One league looks way better than the other side. One conference looks way better than the other side. And then they play each other, and all of a sudden, whoa, wait a minute. The Knicks are pretty good. Hey, that East team, that East is actually, it may not look good against all those other teams, but holy crow, look at this. So I think the Knicks are in perfect position, not only to get to an NBA final, which to me is eminent now. No team has ever lost from 3-0 in the history of the NBA. So that's pretty much a lock. All right. But more importantly, that the Knicks actually are real to potentially win a championship this year. That vision is becoming more and more clear. They won't be favored, but I am starting to believe more and more and more. I'm starting to feel 1973. I'm starting to feel 1970-ish all over again, Boy Green, is all I'm saying. So, I'm not going off the deep end. I'm not going to be one of those crazy Knick fans. We're sweeping the OKC. No. I'm staying grounded. But I really am starting to like my team's chances more and more and more as every day goes by in this playoffs. That's all I got to say.
All right, Lurch, let me ask you this, because you like to, I don't know if goof around is the right word, but you like to play. So, when we had the entertainer on for the Giants, we switched all our names around in Boy Green, Manchild, and you said, oh, that's a cool thing because he's a nickname guy. Here we go. On Friday's show, who knows if I'll be on because I'll be in New Hampshire, which I'll give a message on in a second for the rest of the week. But are you going to call yourself the NBA insider and have Shauna was introduce you as NBA insider Manchild coming onto the show to give us our insights based on?
Do I have the ability to change? I don't think I can change his name. Can I?
You can. You absolutely. You can change my name, his name, anything.
Yeah. I'll go mess with him. That's a great idea. I'll mess with him on Friday. So whether you're there or not, let's do that. We'll put Lurch NBA insider / predictor,
Yes. So I'll show you how to do that after we get off air. I'll show you how you could do it to mine or anybody's. And, you could go to town and have a good time. I think that would be hilarious. But with that being said, everybody, so this has been a terrific show, 2-hour show.
Awesome.
Thank you, everybody. Memorial Day again. 2 things here. First off, remember what it's all about. Again, our heroes that made the ultimate sacrifice, our men and women in the armed forces that are unfortunately not here to celebrate with their families, but hopefully you guys in the middle of all your barbecuing and everything, you just take a second to think about those that made the ultimate sacrifice so you could have all your freedoms that you have. So make sure you do that.
Yep.
And number 2, I'm about to go to a Syracuse Mets baseball game. So Memorial Day, hopefully the weather looks great for here in Syracuse. They're here at home.
They're in Rochester, actually. They're in Rochester.
Oh, they're in Rochester. Oh, crap.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought they were home. Okay. Good. Okay, good. Perfect. All right. Thank you. So I'm heading on the road tomorrow. I'm doing Boy Green Daily tomorrow morning, and then I'm cutting that show off. We're not doing like a 5-hour show tomorrow. And I'm jumping in the car, and then hopefully I get there by nighttime for the family. So I'll be there throughout the rest of the week. So Manchild will have you covered here. We'll see if there's any moments, Wi-Fi in the mountains wise, that I can jump on at some random point. We'll see if that's in the cards. But either way, Manchild's going to have it on lock with some awesome guests with Jake Asman and Ed Valentine and Anthony Prohaska. No Survivor this week. It's done. We had the finale last week, so on Wednesday night, I'm sure I'll wonder what Brett's doing right now. Maybe I'll think about that, but we'll have a break from Survivor for a little bit.
Fantastic. All right, good final thoughts there, Boy Green. No other questions need to be answered. Again, new raffle underway. Everyone get in there and get your raffle tickets this month. Again, we'll draw again the day after Father's Day live on our Monday show. All right. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it, folks. Like the video on the way out. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And we will see you again live on Wednesday. Ed Valentine, Bud Poliquin, all coming in the next couple of days. Jake Asman will be in the fold on Wednesday. All right. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. Peace out.